Righty-ho. Sorry for... Well, actually, I'll wait a little bit here before some people jump in. Let's do this quick, actually. Get that crypto. No, it's not even. I'm curious where this is at. Holy, no way. Yeah, she ain't no crypto. Man, that sucks. I already wrote that down as a to-do. The emails. Oh, bummer. I think I forgot to do the free thingamajigger. Yeah, I did. Poop. Let's see if we can still get it. Fluffy. Oops. Not what I was looking for, but no. Fluffy maker. Should do this on the other machine so you don't see my information. Where's the fluff? Hey National, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Sorry for the MIA this weekend. Make. I spelled it wrong. Fluffy make. Coupon requires a previous purchase. Then why did you send me the discount code? Anyways, we tried, didn't work. But yeah, this thing looked pretty cool. Got a little email for this. A little fluffy maker. Your gecko comes in 5 days? Nice. Yeah, I think you mentioned 8 days, but maybe that was 3 days ago. Or maybe they expedited it. He's got his little jetpack on, traveling a little faster. Nice. Yeah, that's exciting. To get a little dude. But make sure you do your homework, make sure you do your research, because I'm sure they're pretty fragile, so you want to make sure that you can extend his life as long as possible. You don't have any cats or anything like that, right? Like no predators in your own home? Nice. No, that's good, yeah. Yeah, you don't want like a little cat like going in the tank. What are we doing? What are we doing today? We are trying to get this cable to work. Because I still haven't been able to export back programs. We just need to get this cable and then we can export. And yeah, I'm gonna be doing a lot of client stuff this week, I assume. So there's a chance I may not be broadcasting as much, but if I'm not on client stuff, then I'll obviously be broadcasting if nothing else is going on. But yeah, I'm hoping to get some confirmation today at some point that to push on. The way you assign textures to one face is that you'll go down more and it didn't work. Oh, yeah, I can show you how to do that. What's the best way of doing that? We can go back to oh boy. Train project file 2. Just to move them. Yes, I did. I renamed everything. First. This one, I guess. Anyways, we could just do any one. Yeah, we could just do this. Okay, so I'm going to go into my render mode, but you can probably just do this in shader mode. Shader mode being the second last one. Yeah, these are missing textures. Okay, never mind. Let's just simplify it. We're going to simplify it. Sorry, dude. Taking a little bit here. Still haven't got my energy drink in me. Let's simplify it. Shader mode. I'm going to just create a square. Ooh, it's been a little bit. A couple days out of Blender. Feeling rusty. Okay, so we have our object with multiple sides. We're going to go into edit mode. I think what the problem is you have to create a material first. So let's create a material first. Let's create actually a couple materials so that we have a pool, a palette, paint palette to choose from. So we're going to have one that's blue. We can click either, yeah, I think it's this plus here. Again, I use my add-ons, right? So I might be a little rusty here. And then we're going to click new. We're going to make this yellow. Okay, it turned yellow, so just make 2 more of these. The other thing too is if you have other materials, then you can just, actually no, disregard that. These are like each material. So if I were to make any changes to this blue material, anything that has that blue material will all change. That material will all change. You have to like duplicate it to then just adjust just a new version of that blue without changing anything else. There we go. I'll explain that later. That might be a little complicated. Okay, one more. Green. Okay. I need to redo what I did there, delete, so we'll just have a fresh cube. Okay, I have all those materials that I've created. They should be in my material library somewhere. So now, in edit mode, are you good, National? Sorry, I might have overcomplicated you, but I just want to make sure you're watching, because this is where I'll show you how to do it. I needed to set up my Blender to be able to show you this. But once you're watching, I can move on. Cool. So we're going to go into our face mode and have one of our faces selected, which I think you've been trying to do. And then when we're in our material mode, actually, sorry, apologies. You've created your new object, create a new material, so you have a material assigned to it. Then we go into edit mode. That's what I think we might be missing. You need to have a material first. Then you go into edit mode. Then you grab your face. Then we can choose the blue. Add those materials back. This is going to be complicated for you. Sorry, dude. We'll have to run through this a couple times. Yellow. Now, because everything is white, everything is assigned with that white material, and we just want to assign different faces. Once we have that face selected, we'll go to the yellow, and now we'll click assign. And now just that yellow is showing. Let me know if that didn't work for you. Really complicated because I jumped a couple steps there. Apologies. I'll definitely walk through this a little slower and make sure that you can at least get to this stage here. The key thing is, whatever material, say your rail, I'm assuming it's probably your train. Your train at least has to have a material. Okay. Yeah, I can even create a new cube. Do it again from here. Okay. I gotcha. Mom, wait a second, I'm learning Blender. Okay, I can restart. Okay, so you have your train. I'm assuming that's what it is. You need to at least make sure that you have a material on it to be able to do this. But say you have your other, you then want to then populate your other materials. If you already have them, every time you click that button, it generates a material slot, and then you can do this little drop down here, which then you can then assign the materials that you want to be applying to your cube. So you need to create your paint palette of all the different materials that you're going to be assigning to your object. Once that's done, then you'll tab into edit mode. Then you'll grab your face and choose whatever side you're trying to do, and then click assign. But you need to, see if that works. No, I got ya. I thought you were watching there and you were like playing video games or something. It's a different story if your mom was shouting at you. I know how moms are. But again, you'll have your train or whatever object you're trying to do. You need to make sure you at least have a material on it. So I have my new train. I need to make sure at least I have a material on it. Then I'm like, okay, I got 4 different colors that I want to apply to it. So I can do 4 different material slots. That's another way of doing it. Then you go through. I've already created my materials on something else. So I need to create my paint palette of all the different colors that I want to do. Again, remember, if you any of these profiles, if you change any of these features, it's going to change any of the materials. That's material 002. Maybe we can do this here as an example. Material 002, and we'll assign that to the face. Sorry. Maybe I did something wrong. I'll show you my screen. Actually, yeah, that's probably maybe a better way of doing this. Up into the lounge. And then you just have to wait for your screen, right? Actually, another example we can do too is this. Live. Always takes me a second to figure this out. Okay, there we go. Just double click, I guess. Chat still. Okay, so where are you? Oopsies. Oh, there we go. So yeah, you just need to select whatever your object you're trying to paint. Okay, so then in your material properties, click the new button. Yep, you're in the right tab. Yep, click that. Okay, so then there's that little plus button in the top right a little bit there. Yep, click that. How many different colors do you want to add, or different materials? If it's just one, just add one. But if you're going to say do each side 6, if you're just going to do, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. But we have a couple generated, so click the top empty one that you added, the one below it. Yep, and then click, click new. Yep, click new. And then change it to whatever color you're hoping to change that face to. Or if you have a material in your library, then we can assign it here. But for now, let's just do, oh yeah, you know what you're doing. There you go. You've done this before. Okay, so, yep. And then tab into edit mode. Or the drop down, yep. Your face is already selected, so grab that face. Now select that material 003 that you populated, and then click assign. Oop, yep, and then click the assign button. There you go. So now it's just assigned to the one side. It probably wasn't, it's stretched because we need to apply the scale to the, yeah, I need to explain that. That might be a little complicated, but it wasn't working before probably because we needed to assign that cube a material first for whatever reason. That's where I kept running into problems. So the scaling problem now is, you'll probably want to watch my screen for this. I think scaling is going to be your problem right now. How do you feel? Sorry, before we move on, how do you feel? Okay, fix the scaling problem. Okay. This is where I'm not like a super expert, okay? So you'll have to bear with me, but I think I have a solution for that. So if you watch my screen, I'll show you how to do that, hopefully. Let's delete these. I'm gonna just, okay, so I have my cube. Let's say this is, I've scaled it up. Okay, I like how my train looks. And then we go through the steps of applying, right? We're gonna have the same issue that you have. So before we do all that, once we're happy with the scaling of our object, we will hit, I don't know what shortcut it is on your keyboard. For me, it's Command A. For you, try Control A or whatever the other thing is until you get a screen that comes up that says Apply. And then you apply scale. Once you apply the scale, what happens is, yeah, it's complicated, but it resets the global scale of that object. So then once you do those steps of applying that texture, hopefully it won't stretch. It's stretching because you've scaled that cube, right? The original size of that cube was just like equal sides, right? But because you've stretched it and you didn't say, hey, Blender, this is now the new shape I want. It's just like, okay, I'm also going to stretch the texture because you've stretched that object. Does that make sense? Yeah, there you go. You found it. But I think you need to do it before. But say apply scale. So click to apply scale. Yep. And then what we can do is tab into edit mode. Or in your drop down. And then there's the UV option on your top menu bar. So where your face tool is, edge tool is, vertex. Yep, on the right. Keep scrolling to the right. To the right. It's the text. So there's view, select, add, mesh, vertex, edge, face, UV right beside it. Yep, UV all the way at the end. You want to go smart UV project, I think. And then hit OK, question mark. Hit OK. There's a little box there. You have to click OK or hit enter or O. Yep. Yep, click that. Yeah, that's not going to do it. So, undo that, Control Z, Command Z, whatever it is. And then go back to the UV thing, and then try unwrap. Oh, actually, yeah, unwrap, and then, okay, Control Z. This is what I don't know. This is trial and error for me. This is what I have to do every time. And then there's a cube projection. I forgot about that one. So go back to the UV option, the drop down that you're in. Yep, a couple more down, cube projection. I think it's 4th from the top. One more up, yeah. So you can kind of see that we can kind of get it. Oh yeah, there you go, cube size. So now if you scale that, hopefully, there you go. We just got to trial and error this thing. 10, 20. Okay, there you go. You're getting there. We're winning, hopefully. Then there's also, okay, that's probably the right, oh, there you go. Nailed it. Except that it's backwards, right? So maybe type in -7. -7, so that it's a reverse. No. Yeah, it doesn't go reverse, I guess. So just put it back at 7. No, it can only go to 0. Sometimes, like rotation, especially rotation, like if you do the minus, sometimes you can flip it by doing that trick. So I would just put it back at 7 because it looked like you had it at 7. Sometimes you can't do it. It's the parameters where it's just 0 to 100 for scale. You can't go minus scale. But I think that's what you're looking to do. And then yeah, you just apply the same one. Don't create a new one. This is this is where you want to apply materials 003. So let me see if I can explain this. Yeah, apply the 003 because you want it to be the exact same material as this other side, right? So say if you make changes to one material on one side, if both sides are material 003, it will automatically make changes to the other side. If you make a new material with what you're about to do and say it was material 004 was the name, anytime you make changes to this material, it wouldn't make changes to this one. You'd have to make the same changes to the other one. Hopefully that makes sense. One habit to get into is when you do make your materials, right now it says material 003, you can double click on it and change the name of it. So you should change the name of it to like Metra, whatever model version of that material is, right? That maybe, so that way you don't get confused. And then yeah, so anytime you assign that Metra to, it'll be equal materials. You make changes to one, it'll do changes to the other. If you want both to be different, you have to duplicate the Metra 2, so you have a Metra 3. So that way they're separate files. Hopefully that makes sense. Hey, Split Specs. How's it going, buddy? We are jamming in Discord trying to learn how to apply materials. My knowledge is limited. Right now I'm trying to explain how to unwrap and project, but it's not projecting to the right scale sometimes. But he's figuring it out by the looks of it. There you go. But anyways, yeah, man, you're hopefully that on the side it worked. So if you want the same one, just go to the finish your thought. Finish your thought. I don't want to interrupt you there. And then the other side. So you may have to make that material 03, material 004, and then on the one that's inverted, you'd have to go into the material editor and flip it. Or we can maybe just rotate it potentially to 180. This is where, yeah, material editor. No. You'd have to do it in like the properties panel. Make sure you Control Z that. Yeah, Control Z that because you're changing the shape. You can't scale materials like that, I don't believe. So make sure you Control Z back so that your cubes, yeah, there you go. This is where on the very top of Blender, you'll see layout, modeling, sculpture, UV editing, texture paint, shading, animation, rendering, compositing, geometric nodes. So you're going to be flipping between like UV editing and texture paint to fix this issue. I think it's UV editing. But you may have to have that material selected, the face that you want to be fixing. Because then when you have that material that's inverted on this screen, you can then rotate that material on the one on the left side, and it should fix it, I think. Nice, man. Yeah, crush it, dude. Go do that GeoNodes tutorial. Hopefully you're stepping towards the things we kind of talked about, we jammed on. No pressure, but it sounds like it. So I'm curious to see how you make out, what you make out of it. I need to go back into back rooms and try to fix this phone cord. I gotta plug in my phone. But you can hopefully, this is where I won't be able to tell you how to do it, but I think this is where you do it, National. But you can kind of see how you're influencing the material. This is drawing, so this is where maybe the shading tab. Or shader node. This would be a shader node thing, because yeah, we apply a shader node. Yeah, this would be a shader node. So you need to go in the shading tab, I think. Sorry. Yes, this is what we need. I think this is a little more advanced for you, bud. Because I still am wrapping my head around it. I'm not sure if you were watching me with split specs the other day when we were building the breathing. But this is the stuff he's going to be stepping into, the tutorials. But to try to explain it, if you hit Shift A in that area, when you're on that bottom screen, no, when you're in the bottom part, in the geo nodes, the geometry nodes panel, Shift A, you're looking for, what would you call it, coordinates? Or vector rotate, try rotate maybe, vector rotate, texture, maybe try texture, sorry. Coordinates, texture coordinates, I think, no, that's not it. We're looking for something that has like rotation, scale, location. There's going to be one of those nodes that does that. And then essentially we plug in that tool to this network node, and then we'll have the ability to rotate your material whatever way you want within that face. No, I get you. I get you. That's unfortunately just how Blender's going to apply stuff with the material setups that we have. The other thing you could look for, yeah, I don't think it's in here, but you might find it, displacement, no, volume, no. I'm hoping it would be in here. It would be easy if it was just in here, but it's not. The other thing is you could save two material files. So wherever you grab that material file on your desktop, if you have a photo editor and you can rotate the image and make it inverse and save it as a new one, when you apply that image to your inverse side, it should fix it because it's going to invert it back to the way, like, hopefully that makes sense. Like if you had Photoshop. Yeah, exactly. Duplicate sim image, and then on the second image, flip it so it's inverted, save it, and then that other side of your train. I think you know what I'm getting at. I'm rambling. I gotta get my caffeine in me. But yeah, I think you're figuring it out. Sounds like it. Cool. Awesome, dude. Well, I'm glad at least you're comprehending what I'm trying to throw at you. I'm rambling, and it seems like you're getting it, so something's sticking. Apologies for the scrambles. Cool. And I tend to say that, so I kind of kick myself out of just a train of thought that doesn't really need to be pushed on anymore. But okay, I'm gonna kick back to my stuff for a little bit. I'm gonna let you run for a little bit. Maybe, keep pushing at it for a little bit because I want to get this phone thing figured out before I have to go. I have to go out and do a couple things probably this afternoon. 6.6. That's a gnarly thing. Anyways. So I think another thing you were saying, election, something about the election, or maybe, no, maybe you didn't. But yeah, I think it's the election, the eve of election or something. We should have a new president tomorrow. Not to jam into politics right away, but I want to acknowledge you guys are on the eve of something new. When is election day? November 5th. Tomorrow. The big day. But anyways. What the heck is that thing? Sorry, it's probably not the best thing to do on camera, but got a gnarly thing on my head. Yeah, this project file, she's a beaut. She takes a good 5 to 10 minutes to boot up now. So I want to wrap her up, get her done. But it'll be a shame when, if it hits 1 million views and we have to finish episode 3. It's gonna be a house of cards. Oh. Come on, Blender. Come on, Blender. I want to do something, Blender. Come on. Yeah, I don't even know if this is the right project file. Well, actually, I wanted to go back as far as I can. Thought I had it, but the cord, for whatever reason, is just a bit off from the connector piece, and it wasn't doing that the first time I connected it. And then the other thing is the cord keeps going through the monolith for some reason, and it wasn't doing that before. So what did I want to try to do different this time? I think everything's rigged. I think I wanted to try a new rig. I think this seemed like it was connected. It was this side, and it looks like it's by that distance even. So I think what I'm gonna do is just do this over again. I'm gonna be talking this out loud, which is probably a good thing for you guys, so you're following along if you are. But I don't expect you are because this is more advanced type stuff. Remove the hooks and then delete it just in case. But talking it out that way, hopefully I can finger it out with this old hands. Okay, then we are going to delete. Then we are going to populate a new one. throw everything on. Props, phone, garbage, collisions. Props, phones, monolith. This isn't working anymore, so we can put that in there. We'll just put this in here because that's where it was last time, so maybe that's what's different. Sorry, and I'm probably quiet because I had the mic up in the corner of my shelf there. But now it's a little closer. Let's get rid of these vertices. Leave the ones on the phones. Okay. Save it. We are adding a couple things. Drop that in there. Let's get rid of this. Let's make sure this is our scale is applied. Excuse me. Okay, overthinking it. What's this? Use circle mode. Switch between basic. Circle mode. Manual cable. This time, save, and I want to just rig it up to my current system. So this, shift this, tab into edit mode, grab the vertices, controls, hooks, hooked selected. Actually, no, first, sorry, give me a second. We need to do a couple things first. We need to snap our cursor to selected. We need to grab this, snap selection to cursor. Then we need to go over snap selection to cursor. Oh, no. Snap cursor to selected. Grab this guy, snap this guy, selection to cursor. Oh, I derped. What happened there? Snap cursor to selected. Grab this. Oh, I probably didn't do that. Then we snap selection to cursor. There we go. Okay, save. Now we rig. So this. I'm in edit mode, so that's why I couldn't select before. So now back in object mode, select this, shift, click this, tap into edit mode, select our vertices we want to hook into the empty. That's probably what I didn't explain what I'm trying to do. Because hooking it to the empty, then we can assign the empty to the phone. So wherever the phone moves, then essentially this whole chain of this parenting system, rigging system that I'm creating, these 2 points will always be connected to the phone and hopefully always connected to the base. So my thinking is then the cord will automatically react between the two based on the physics of the thing. And I just realized that we are now with barbed wire. And that's probably going to be an ouchies. So we don't want to do that. I gotta redo it because I don't think you can just swap it. No. Oopsies. I mean, that is kind of terrifying, right? But probably not what we want to be doing. Okay. So, I think we're feeling good. Feeling good on a Monday? Everybody feeling good? Let's delete those. But I think this is going to be better for us versus that whole complicated system I had before. I could have just simplified it. Uh-oh. Huh? We'll just go back to our project file because I think that's where we left off anyways. Oh no, we hooked it and saved it. Never mind. Oh no, we gotta wait 10 minutes. Silly. Oh, figuring it out. Hopefully. Rotation. The other thing you can do is rotation X, Y, Z, and then you can type in a value afterwards. So just like how you do the move tool when you're doing the rotation. So Control Z, so that because it looks like your material's like shifted there, Nash, now. You rotated it and it's not equal on both sides. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like it's still off to me, but it looks like you're getting it. But I would type RY 180. So that way, rotation on the y-axis 180 degrees, and it should flip it. Back in that one screen that you're in. So that one side that you're trying to invert, RY 180. Yeah, then hit Y. 180. On the number pad, enter. And then it should flip it 180 degrees. But I don't know if that's going to do it, what you're trying to do, but that's how you would flip that whole panel 180 degrees. 360 degrees is a full rotation, so nothing will happen, but 180 should be a half full rotation, so it's going to flip it. But the other side might not have a material maybe, but it's worth a try. Or figuring it out in that geometry shader thing, because you'll definitely be able to do it in there. That's where my limit, I lean into the material painters, right? I can't say I've actually had to do too many material things. My one architecture house that we had to do, I had to do a bunch of materials on the faces, so that's where I learned all that. But then all my materials were a part of my material pack, right? So I didn't have any really issues. All I had to make sure was, that's the other thing I had to learn. Your outwards face and your inwards face. So there's a mode where you can turn and see your face is blue and red. Blue being the inside face, red being the outside. So when there's like a wall and you have a character inside, you'd want all the faces in the inside to be blue and everything on the outside to be red. So when you apply material, the way that the material is applied is perspective is towards that person. I think it's complicated. I'm going to stop talking. I don't know enough to probably talk about it. But that's close. This is where, again, you have to go into that that one mode you're in where you're rotating the material, because you'll need to have to scale down that material just added so it fixes the face. Or do what you're doing here. Maybe it'll automatically do it somehow, but there's going to be a limit where that tool is going to stop working, and then you have to step into manually trying to scale it, and you do it through these shading tabs, UV editing tabs. But yeah, I'm not going to do that here. Okay, so let's make sure we are on the spiral. Let's save it. Dynamic time step, add a manual cable. All that is in there. Make sure we're clicked on this. Add a manual cable. Come on now. Come on, why? Oh no, now it's not working. This is insane. This is insane. Oh. what are the chances? I just literally have one more thing to do so I can finish this animation. And as I keep pushing on that one thing, it's just like boom. Or actually, I thought it was done. And then the cable, it was broken. Okay, just got to fix the cable. And it's literally been a week of trying to fix that cable. And now it's not working. Oh, sorry. We were so close. If it was just that barbed wire. I don't know about your religion, but sometimes I think I'm cursed, hence the barbed wire, but hiya. Okay, how do we resolve this? We need to find a resolution instead of complaining. So we are going to purge everything that we're not using and hope, fingers crossed, that is what's going to solve the problems. But I have no idea what I'm doing, so there's a good chance it's not going to work. I don't think there's anything in there. Did you fix yourself? Oh, hallelujah. She be fixed. Is she a spiral cord? Oh yeah, we in business. We in business. Okay, let's save that. Okay, so if you're getting weird error messages like object not available and it was working before, maybe make this a cheat sheet. Add this to your cheat sheet if you're getting weird errors. To go File, Clean Up, Purge Unused Data, and Purge Orphans. It may remove some of your images that you've added as a preview thing, but by doing that, it fixes problems like I just experienced now. Okie dokie, back to it. So we are putting our cursors back to where the things were cursed. I didn't mean to come out that way. Okay, that to that, this, that, this, and that. And then we do the same to the other thingamajigger. Down here, cursor to selected. Then we go here. We're doing this so that way we know our vertices are directly connected to our edge, our empties. My empties are in specific positions right now that I want them to attach to. So we're just telling Blender to say, hey, send these things. Select what I've selected to where my 3D cursor is. It should say 3D cursor because that's would probably not make it as complicated. But as you can see, now our cord is connected to those things, but now we have to parent them, and that's what the hooking thing is about. And in order to hook, we have our empties, so pretend these are our hooks, and now they need to hook into like a fishing line or hook into your thing that you're trying to catch onto, that you're trying to hook onto. Maybe think of it as metal links. You need to hook a metal link onto a truck to be able to drag something. So maybe that's a better way of visualizing or explaining what I'm trying to do here. So the empty being the hook thing that we're attaching to our metal link so that whatever it's attached to will stay attached to it. So empty, we want to choose our metal link, but in this case it's our phone cord. We need to tab into edit mode and we need to select the hinge or the rotation point that we want the clasp to be attached to. So I may be overcomplicating this, but I'm hoping I'm giving a better visual to what we're trying to do here. If I'm not, let me know. But this is advanced stuff, so you don't have to retain any of this by any means. I'm just trying to talk out my own solutions while keeping the YouTubes moving along. Okay, now I'm pretty sure things are connected. So if we go back, we have that, but the cord is going through the thing still. If it would just not do that, we would be golden. Okay, we saved. We are switching to spiral mode, and we are tweaking this stuff. Ah, see, it's still doing that thing again. Will the phase fix it? I don't think so. No, it's just going to keep rotating around that. See, it's not even doing it for the bottom one either anymore. Oops, what did I do? 0.25. I think I said 350 before. Oh, she's so close. If these ends could just butt in and not go through the monolith. We are so close. That's what's kind of bummer about using the add-ons. You're very limited in your controls. We are close. What do you think? I get the roof done in a sec? Did you already apply material too? Because it looks like there's something on it already. But the sides are looking good. Oh, that's kind of like that tin sheeting. I gotcha. Okay, yeah, so that's the scale thing. There you go. Okay, cool. Nice, dude. Is that what you're looking to do, or is there anything that you want to change about it? Because I think it's looking pretty good for the most part. Like, it's pretty blocky, but materials, like, they're flat, right? So you're going to kind of have a blocky thing to it. But I'm sure if you add maybe, like, some exhaust on the top, or from here, what you could do is, like, now design the window frame. Like, get a cylinder or a cube and then kind of model kind of your window frame, so that way it extrudes off the side of the flat cube, right? You kind of want objects to kind of be sticking off the side of the flat cube, and you can do that with your window frames. You can do that with door handles. Like go to front view, change your front view in your viewport so you're looking directly on the train. Yeah, see how the left and right side, there is nothing sticking off the sides of it. It's completely flat. But if you were to go up a train in real life, you would see like the door handles hanging off, right? The railings to get up onto the thing. Maybe the sheeting of the material would extrude out a little bit. You'd have the ripples along the side of it. So that would be the next step for modeling, in my opinion. You have your basic shape, you have your PS2, you have your Xbox, original Xbox graphic, right? Like you could essentially make video games with those types of graphics. Your Roblox, Minecraft, like that's the level that you're kind of on right now. But to take it a next step further and say PS3 graphics, that's where you want to start adding those details that I'm talking about. Hopefully that makes sense. But then yeah, you're just tweaking the stuff until you get it to look how you want. I think looks like you're doing it. You're getting it. But for me, why am I not getting it? Help me, National. Tell me how to do physics and breaking this chord. Come on now, you should know that, right? I'm just kidding. Someday. That's why one thought too is if I do get busy, there's always those tutorials that we've dropped in the Discord, right? Like the basic tutorials. And there's a couple of those that I haven't done myself. So maybe what I'm thinking is if I do get busy, you kind of have a little bit of a homework thing that you got to start chewing through some of those tutorials. Because the more you onboard the basic skills, when we get to jam together, we'll be able to get like right into things, right? Because we'll know what tool is called. And if I'm stumbling over a word, you're like, oh, I know what you mean. And you can quickly shortcut it, right? You'll be able to do that more the more tutorials you watch. And also what I'm thinking is if there's any other, those tutorials I haven't done, you might actually be able to show me some stuff.
because I'm still learning, right? That material stuff, you might find out, oh, hey, there's actually a better way of doing that where it's not so complicated. Anyways, that's just the thought. If I do get busy, that you kind of step into a homework of Blender, and we can just chew through some tutorials kind of thing. But anyways, rambling. Okay, so how do I resolve this? My thinking is it might have to do with the collision for some reason. And what if these haven't been scaled? Select objects. Scale. Nope. Nope. Oh, actually, let's just do the scale. I might recalibrate if I do. Oh, it's so close. So close. Why can't we figure this out? Oh, hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. We might have gotten it with that scale. Apply scale. Man, that thing is tricky to remember. The stretching of objects, and I think it might have explained my stretching of my objects. Hopefully. What am I trying to do? What are you trying to do? Spit it out, Sam. What are you trying to do? You are trying to rotate your cord so it just fits into the hole. Come on. It's going around it, but not in it. Oh man, we were so close. Extension? Like, why can't we just extend it? Like, or offset is like, why couldn't we add an offset chord? Distance between points. I still don't understand what this thing does, but 0.05. Yeah, I have no idea what this does. My thinking is it has to do with the cutting of stuff. Okay, we have to always reset this. I think it was 650, 1095. Collision data. Oops. Yeehaw. What is going on here? Come on, camera. One thing too, National, I notice you're kind of struggling with the camera a little bit. I don't know what it would be on the Windows keyboard, but actually here, I'll bring up a picture on tilde keyboard. So this button here on my keyboard, beside the one, it's got like a little wavy thing and then a dot. I think that's called the tilde key. I thought it was a tilde, but it's just called tilde key. When you hit that, there you go. That brings up a wheel for your camera. So then you can choose right side. You can choose your left side. Where you were clicking in that axis wheel, that's going to automatically give you your perspective you're looking for. So you're not having to like, dial your stuff around. Like that's good for if you just want to like do manual control, but you're like, man, I really could use the right side view as long as you're designing your level, because mine's upside down, so that's why it does that. Top down, if you have a camera in your scene, you can instantly go inside of your camera. View selected is a huge thing too. So if you're lost somewhere in your views, if you have an object selected and you choose the view selected one, it'll automatically zone in on that object that you've selected, and then you can start rotating around just that object. It's really handy. I use that one the most, probably view selected. View selected, view camera. maybe write that one in your cheat sheet, because that's a huge thing that's going to save you a lot of time. But you do you. Okay, what do we look like in our camera? If we can cheat it, I'll take it. If we can cheat it, I'll take it, but we're not cheating it. Far from it. Man, what is happening here? Physics. Take off that. More stable. What the heck? Whoa, that is trippy. My phone cord just like multiplied into a bunch of phone receivers. It's got a tree of things. And they all animate crazy. We are the phone monster. Anyways. Oh, look at that. Look how close we are. Why can't you just go in the hole? We're so close. Work. Just work, work, work. Oh, man. Do we just move our phone, maybe? Do we just move our phone? What happens then? We move the phone, it moves this. So hold up, I'm getting to a solution. I'm seeing it connecting in my head. Since this is parented, if we disconnect, okay, let's save it as a new one because I think we're getting some progress here. File save as. Holy Hannah, 7.1. I have like probably 200 gigabytes in project files for this thing right now. Okay, so we're in 7.1. We are disconnecting this, which I'm assuming would break stuff. So this would have worked if we had this connected to that. It's not going to work because whatever I do here isn't going to matter. Oh, tricky. Tricky. Don't know what to do, but let's just keep trying until we do. Okay, this could be a reason why. Could be a reason why it's not working properly, but snap cursor to selected. We're gonna go here, we're gonna grab this, we're gonna snap this to cursor. Then we're going to take this and snap this to cursor. Then we're going to take this and this. Then we're going to tab into this. We're going to do this. We're going to hook it into remove phone receiver to empty. Phone receiver to empty. Hooks. Assign that. Tab out. And then if we move this, oh man, it's not working. This, tab. Sorry, dude. Hopefully everything's good on your end. I was in the zone there. Seemed like you were figuring it out, working it out. But yeah, you probably don't want to be streaming if you don't need to. That way it's not chewing up your computer. I'm sure it's probably toasty. Man, we are so close. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. Man. Okay, let's quit Blender. We had it working in the last project. Oh, man, we're so close. We're so close. I had to figure this out before I go. At least another hour, probably hour or two. Do it again. Do it again. Sorry. Definitely not paying attention. Oh, if we can just get this phone cord done. We got a few things on the list to do. Still didn't get around to updating YouTube. Want to do that. I gotta figure out some hours. It's important to be mindful of tracking hours, because if you're not, then you're scrambling and you're undercutting yourself, because if you're not tracking hours, then you definitely have to undercut yourself, to be fair. You don't have to, but consciously, you didn't do your job tracking hours right, so go back and try to figure out the best and what's fair. The reality is I was also learning during this time, so it's reduced rates, blah, blah, blah. But I identified when I'm going to actually start charging, so that was at least the minimum, but I still want to figure out my time tracker, because I just kind of slotted the 2 hours together. I've been working on backrooms and some client stuff, and I've just been slotting it under Blender hours, which I probably shouldn't be doing. Well, up to a certain point, and I was just averaging them, because I've definitely been 10, 12-hour days. 3 of them probably being taking breaks and jamming with people. But yeah, that's what I want to try to do and figure out. That's one thing. So then going forward, we are tracking our hours every day. What else do we got? We got back rooms, ceiling lights. We figured that out. Should put this in a note. Put it with the project. Lighting note. Back rooms. Back ROMs. Try particles reverse. We're not going to bother. Phone cord. We're going to double talk. Fix outer wall. Fix hands at the start. We did all that. Add spotlight. should do some more posts than I initially imagined. Fix ninja moves, so all that still is to be done. Can get rid of this because we are not going to do that. So I'm sure it'd probably be easy, but we're going to just call it a wrap. And improvements to the next one, we can just keep iterating. Just even add more craziness to the backrooms lore. That there's iterations of him going through the backrooms, and that's why we see changes between the videos. It's not the same guy, it's actually multiple people, or the same guy just living a loop in backrooms, but the backrooms keeps changing. Kind of like that oldest view where it was the regular mall, and then at the end it was like that decrepit vegetation falling apart mall, where we started this bright backrooms in our very first video, and now we're kind of in this really dark flashlighty space, right? So then the next one, maybe there's no lights and it's just the spaceman's light. Some thoughts, but yeah, not for this one. For future iterations, what else do we have to do? Then we have our clients project, which has a bunch of rambling notes we got to figure out. And we got some personal stuff. We're going to put this up here with this. Actually, probably we just even put that in our note that we're in. It's all together. Ugh. Change the name of it. Plus future ideas. Okay. Sorry, just cleaning my thoughts for the week. I probably should have done this yesterday. Alright, so we got a bunch of backroom stuff. We got YouTube. We got tracking hours. We got backrooms. We got client stuff. We got personal stuff. We got David. And we got personal stuff. So if we can chew on some of these this week and get them done, that would be ideal. We can clean this up a bit. Video on design. What do we got going on here? Oh, making that Trump meme. There you go, the flip thing. For the train, you could use this for the train by using that flip that you were just in. So those are aspect ratios, so like your cell phone, the different type of devices that might be viewing it. 1:1 would be like your typical social media. 16:9 is like when you turn your phone sideways. 9:16 is watching it regular. What are you doing? Trying to make him talk? Can maybe show you how to do that. But I wouldn't know how to do it through that program that you're on. Pixabay. 1.7 million. Holy Hannah. What's his dealio? What's his rise to fame?
be showing this on my stream, but this looks crazy. So yeah, he's just using a bunch of still images. Wrong clips. Yeah, it looks like he's just creating like a basic person sticking a face on him. Yeah, you're looking to do the mouth thing. Yeah, I kind of figured. How you would do that in... I can show you how I would do it in Photoshop, and then you can maybe try to, like, I don't know. Yeah, no, I got you. I know how to do it, but I use Photoshop and After Effects for that, and you're using some kind of online service that I wouldn't know how to use. But I could show you in how I do it, and then if there's similar tools, like there will be similar tools, they're just be in different places. Yeah, I can show you. And then maybe we can run it together. Okay, so let's see here. Let's just hide this for now. I do not want to close it because it took forever to load. Can you flip me the Trump? Actually, or I can even Google it on Discord, that picture, whatever assets you're trying to get me to use, or you want to do it too. Trump face. And the other thing you do is like maybe combine a couple of them together. You can actually even do better than the black. Like you can do the Nutcracker. I call it the Nutcracker. Nutcracker. Like when they talk, right? Like their mouths are like open and you see the black. But the other thing you can do too is the same type of how you would animate that. Instead of cutting it up and down, you just cut out different mouths. How to animate still mouths. A-E-I-O-U. You're looking for mouths like this. There's a good chart here that you want to try to find pictures of Trump with these different mouths. So that way when he's talking, you're actually trying to cut between these different, instead of animating a thing up and down, you're just literally replacing images of whenever he's trying to speak these words. So like apple would be A, right? October would be O, if you'd saying stuff like that. November, it's hard to kind of understand. V, like anytime a word has these sounds in them, that's when you want to cut to that image of him. But anyways, I'll show you how to do the Nutcracker version of it. So I need Photoshop and an image of Trump. Closed mouth version. That one that you're using there. I'm not finding it easy. Can you send that one to me on Discord? Because I can use one of these other ones, but I should probably use the one that you're maybe trying to do. See what it looks like on my end. Or never mind. I can just use this. I'll just use this. Hopefully I can just use this. I'm overcomplicating it, sorry. There we go. We should just be able to use this. Okay. New stuff, cool. I'll take a look at later, because whatever I'm doing, you're just going to steal from me. I gotta unlock that. Then I gotta bring Trump in. A couple steps here. Okay, we got him. Pixelated. Okay, so I don't know what kind of tools you have, but you're kind of looking for... Oh man, they changed everything. A selection tool or a lasso tool or a cut tool. A mask tool. Crop tool. Okay, crop. Okay, so duplicate your image. You're kind of on the right process before. Just duplicate the image. You have two of them stacked on top of each other in the same position. Yep. Okay,
so then one on the top one, we just need to cut out everything but his bottom chin part. So use the crop tool and just select his half of his mouth and down. On my screen, I'm doing like a little box here. So you want to grab and make it look like that. Where you just want the, because you want his mouth to open, right? So we got to try to cut through the lip if we can. Yep. And then click out of that mode so you're not in the crop mode anymore. But you need to be cut off like that. Because we need one image. Sorry, I need to do it on my end here too. So I need to duplicate layer. So I have two stacked on top of each other. I'm taking this image and I'm selecting just the mouth part I want to animate. Actually, I want to do the whole chin type stuff. And then I don't know how you would do it on yours, but you could invert, subtract from mask. Okay, sorry, give me a second. I'm overcomplicating this. On my end, I would think I would just do this. Do this. Sorry, it's been a little bit. This, and then, no, do the whole thing. So I need to cut it. What is happening here? They changed all the tools since the last time I've been in here. Why? Normally I would just select this and then I could cut this. Edit. Cut. Like, why can't I cut it? Flatten image. Maybe it's because it's a webmb or whatever. There we go. It was just the image type that I downloaded. But for me, I'm just doing this where I'm selecting, cropping just what I want, and then I can move it up and down. Pretty simple in Photoshop. You can create a back layer and then have your black. But for you, you're trying to crop. The problem by duplicating, even if you crop it, you're not going to see it because you have a duplicate of the exact same image. So on the back image, you need to cut out the part of Trump. So that one, the bottom image is the part with his mouth cut out, and then the second image is just the chin part. So you're animating just the top part, and because you have the hole cut out in the bottom, that's how you get the gap. I don't know if that makes sense. Sorry, I should have probably explained it before trying to do it. But you need to create two separate layers. The best way of thinking about it is like paper. So yeah, you have one image of Trump, but you want to be able to move the bottom half of this stuff, but you want to be able to keep the top, the original, the same. So the only way to do that is two ways. Splitting the image in half. So now you can just keep the top part, and now you can just animate this. But in order to do that, if your tool won't let you cut them, it only let you delete them. That's why you have to duplicate, because you have to have two copies of this paper where one of them you're throwing away, and then the other one you're throwing the top part away. So that way you have two separate images that you can then animate. Don't know if that makes sense, but maybe that's a better visualization with the paper ripping. And then the next complicated part after that is then keyframing the top image. Oops, I forgot to make them two separate myself. There we go. That's what I meant to do. Sorry, been a while since Photoshop. This. And now one image is with his face cut out, and the other image is just his chin. That's what you kind of need to set up. So that way you're only animating this part. The top, the bottom stays the same, and all that's moving is your new layer that you've isolated. But you need maybe a third layer for your background color, so that way Trump's mouth is black. So you might need 3 layers. But I don't know, I don't know if your tool can do that because I don't think they're separate layers. I think when you duplicate, it's technically still one layer. Like you're not creating a new file, you're just adding another version of that to the same piece of paper. Like you're not duplicating so you have multiple pieces of paper, you're just duplicating so this same image is on the same plane, right? Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing. I guess maybe I shouldn't probably be showing him how to do this, right? Because it's probably going to be now equipped to create propaganda. So yeah, let's maybe shut this down. I didn't recognize what you're doing. I honestly didn't think about that. Yeah, I can't contribute to that, sorry. So I'm going to shut that down. But that's how you animate nutcrackers. I should have done it to the nutcracker instead of Trump because I don't have a side, and now it's on YouTube, and I don't think I won't be able to save this post on YouTube. So yeah, going forward, just to let you guys know, if somehow I do show political things or I say something that shouldn't be appropriate, I won't be able to save those YouTube broadcasts. So yeah, I should have been more mindful. I should have been doing this on my other computer. Not that I'd be streaming for a full day anyways, but I just wanted to be communicative. If you see past streams disappearing, that's why, because I just don't think it's appropriate. Or yeah, go edit it out. That's probably another thing, is maybe edit those pieces out. I don't want to manufacture things also by having edited stuff or deleting stuff because of something I've said or somebody else has said, but I had a conversation with somebody and I just don't want to get other people in trouble and also myself, especially with minors. So I just, yeah, sorry, apologies. But yeah, how's it going, Henry? How's things your way? Sorry, you probably came in a hot moment. You're always coming in the crazy parts. We are not going into those directions anymore. I try to be more mindful of them. You guys can do whatever you want. I don't care, no. I'll help you where I can, but I have no Trump affiliations. I don't care. I'm not a political person. Talk about it with my views, but I don't have any sides. I'm just a open-minded, critical thinker, and 1, not educated enough, or 2, don't know enough to actually talk about it in reality. So hence why I also don't want to dive too much into it on stream. Off stream we can, but what was the thumbnail? Oh, the Trump, yeah. I'm sure this is probably going to be my biggest, this is going to get my 1,000 subscribers the day before election. Actually, yeah, let's see where YouTube's at. It's just exploded. I was not even thinking. I'm just trying to help out National. And, might be getting myself in trouble. YouTube Studios, where are we at? Did we get any subscribers from old Trumpy face? No new subscribers, but yeah, no, nothing popping. No 1,000 new subscribers. Anyways, hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Feeling good for a Monday. Feeling good on a Monday. Very nice, very nice. Join me while I'm learning Blender and it's Trump. Well, we could have made him 3D and slapped his face on something, but not today. Today we got the phone cord because the phone cord is driving me nuts. We're so close, but yet so far. Just doesn't want to go in the hole. No matter what I try. And we also have it glitching through the floor, even though I have it telling to be collision with that grouping of stuff. So a couple things that we're trying to fix today, but we need to get over it. And I should probably fix that and not let that be. I don't know how we lost our things. Backrooms, phone cable, numbers and phone, reload model, just the base. That should be an easy fix, hopefully, just a pain in the butt. But yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah, nice, man. I know we kind of jammed on the routine of Blender. Hopefully you kind of have a little schedule or a roadmap for yourself, the things to pick at, those low-hanging fruit, I think maybe was what we were jamming on. But you do you. I'm excited for you. Hopefully you can get into the routine of things. Doesn't need to be 7, 9, 12-hour days, but even if you can jam an hour or two every day, then that's some progress. And start making some wicked stuff. Help me with my project. No, you do you. But again, if you're looking for something to chew on, I got something big. But you gotta clean house first, right? Clean house. Anyways, giving another shot at a sculpting for a small project plus animation. Nice. Yeah, I tried to show National some sculpting the other day or get into it. Or maybe it wasn't National. Maybe it was somebody else. But yeah, sculpting is not my jam. Materials are not my jam. It's a little tricky. Good at Photoshop, After Effects. Hence why I was kind of jumping into it with National. See where he's at. Hopefully you're figuring it out. Might be a little tricky with Canva, but can maybe do some funny stuff potentially. Okay, stop twirling and figure out what you need to do. So we have a chord. How does it look? Let's save it just in case. How does it look down on the ground? Okay. Frame by frame. Please don't go through the monolith. Oh, you're going through the monolith. Oh, it's so close. So close. Okay, we don't see it go through the monolith, so we're okay. Hopefully. Come on now. Come on now. Don't fudge me now. Oh boy, we might be good. We might be good. Come on, stay like that. Don't do anything funky. Stay in your position. Don't look at the dog. Don't touch the dog. It's my family member's dog back in the day. It was a little squirrely. If you do, my uncle had come over. He's just like, don't look at the dog, don't touch the dog. Gotta get used to you first. And then he's just like this. Don't look at the dog, don't touch the dog. It's just funny. So I run with that when you just need things to work and not bite your hand off. Coleslaw. That was the nickname for the dog. Had brains like coleslaw. Oh yeah, it's working. Come on now. Stay like that. Come on. I'm surprised at the playback here. It's playing back pretty good. Look at that. It's good. Bake it. We're baking. Throw it in the oven. Bake it. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Make my bed first. Oh yeah, you got to start somewhere, right? I didn't make my bed today, so I skipped that step. I'm still in my pajamas. I skipped that step too. Skipped a lot of steps today. was a quick bake. That scares me. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I failed. I might be cheating. Cheating my success. I'm like, yeah, I'm successful. Everything around me looks good and Blender's looking good. But then if I take my camera like out into my bedroom, my place is not a mess. I'm just being joking, but like my bed and stuff, right? It's just a complete mess. So your life could look really good. Somebody's life could look really good. But when you look behind the computer, it could just be a pile of dishes and cockroaches everywhere. I mean, I'm still living like I'm in college and I'm 36, so I know I could probably be living a better lifestyle, but I'm not like some YouTubers out there that that are kind of inspiration in some degree. Some people, maybe not their life choices, but their character for sure. I appreciate. So, good old World of Warcraft legend and degenerate, as in his own words, Asmongold. I'm not on that length by any means. But anyways, yeah, I gotta start with your bed. Yeah, Asmon. Yeah, you got her. He's an interesting cat. I like watching his streams from time to time. But his lifestyle, holy Hannah. What is it? Abba and Preach? A couple guys that do YouTube, just crazy events. They'll comment on it. Got me laughing. They're watching it and he's talking about how Asmon's life and how bad it was, and then says something, and the one guy just looks at the wall and just starts screaming in French. I was like, holy man. Just talking about his life, how that guy could be okay with living like that. I'm sure he's like swearing and everything in the background, but I don't know French, so. But anyways, getting giddy. Yeah, they got a couple. The first one was hilarious. I want to make like a super cut of it actually, because they watch him do something and then he'll come back and guy's screaming in French again, and then he'll talk in English and shaking his head. But there's a super cut to be made of all those moments. Of just by the end of the video, they're just like, oh no. But then the second one that came out recently, Asmon's gotten his life together, and they're like, good on you, buddy, good job. Couple cringy moments still, but anyways, yeah, he's a solid cat. I think he helps a lot of people out there, and he's just genuine. Like, he's just him. He doesn't let people change him. And he changes himself, right? Like sometimes he'll say something and he'll come back and be like, yeah, actually, I said the wrong thing. But then he's also not afraid to say the things that he wants. So I have some respect for him. Not his lifestyle, but him as a character. Anyways, if we could just get this twirly action, but let's see the bake. The bake means we're good, right? As long as the bake was saved to the right spot, which I don't know if it was. We need to make sure we have this locked, because last time I did simulation, it didn't bake properly. Where did I see that before? Where did I see that before? It wasn't in here. Where did I see that before? Yeah, that sun stuff's cool. I came across this the other day. That was epic. That's going to work well for the client, for my aerial stuff. If I know what day of the year and what time, I can actually get the sun data and plug that in for my lights. So that'll be super cool. I've already done it. Looks nice in some spots. could have sworn there was something for cache outside of that thing. And I'm worried it's not. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. 2025, when the next Mac Studio comes out, I'll probably be getting that. And I'm on M1, and they're going to be on M4. So it's going to be insane. The jump I'm going to have, and I'm already on a fast machine. Okay, there we go. I think this is what I was looking for before. No, that was separate. But yeah, the new M4 is supposed to be a lot better with animation stuff, so I'm excited for that. Got to start saving. It's gonna be expensive. Oh, I could have sworn it was in here somewhere. Where did I see that? Where did I see that? Yeah. I wasn't going to until they were starting to talk about 3D this, 3D that. And I'm like, well, I like Mac. But I know if I was on a Windows machine and had access to swapping out graphics cards, that I could probably render a lot faster, export out a lot faster. So yeah, there's gonna be pros and cons. I haven't made a decision yet, but and it's just all rumors about the M4 thing right now. So, but got to start saving if I want it. Either way, that money will be applied to a new machine, focused on 3D, hopefully. I'll still have this machine unless I decide to sell it, but this machine will probably just be video. Will be the video machine, and then the new one will be animation. So maybe it doesn't make sense to get the M4 and go switch into Windows and save that, spend that money towards that. But it just came out the other day that I was like, oh, wow. Like, I bought this machine, like, how long ago? Like, I feel like 2 years ago, not even. Yeah, 2 years ago. And they're on M4. It's like, what? They skipped M3 for this thing. I don't know. We're moving too fast. Which is good, I guess, for people like us, but the whole AI thing, getting a little scary. Okay, I'm just twirling. I'm not doing a whole lot, right? What am I doing? What am I trying to figure out? I'm trying to figure out the cache. Should be a way to say, hey, where is this bake data living? I should have set it up somewhere. Is it in the add-on itself? Possibly. That's maybe where I saw it. Nope. Do we just cross our fingers and hope Blender has our back? And the other thing we need to see is how this looks. If those mistakes are mistakes. Yeah, just to let you know, National, we could see that last screen that you're on there. So it's not on YouTube or anything, but the people that are watching you on Discord right now are seeing all this. So I just recognized what screen you're in now. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. But I don't know if you should be showing that on Discord. Be mindful of those things, remember? If you can. Oh, it's not going to work. Our cord pops out a little bit. Right here. Oh, and there. Man, if there was just an extension. Oh, if there was just an extension, we could figure it out. And how cool would it be if we could just get the liquid to get inside there too and pour out of the hole versus just being this blob. That's what I did with my machine, 3D only. Yeah, that's probably what. Sorry, I could be more in my fellow chat. Yeah, that's what I should do, right? Especially with my direction that I want to go this year and my future. I'm hoping 90% of my work in the new year will just be 3D. It might be a big ask. If there are video work, then I hop back to another machine. Keep all the plugins separate, keep all the cache stuff separate, and just be a little bit more efficient. If one machine's rendering or whatever, right, then I can hop over do another other thing. So that's what's nice about having two machines. Or multiple machines. Blender, another thing that I was doing too is, I don't know if you can do it anymore, but you could create your own render farm with all the machines that you own. So I had like 4 iMacs connected to it, and each machine was taking a bit of the rendering process, rendering of the frames. Like my oldest machine, I think exported 15 pictures, while the other ones were exporting like hundreds of pictures. So maybe it didn't make sense to add that one into the chain. But the more of those machines you can add to that chain, right, the faster your exports become. But yeah, that was the whole thing to set up. Which wouldn't be a bad idea to look at, actually. Like one thought was like those crypto farms, like a lot of people are getting out of the crypto game, right? So they have a lot of investment in those GPUs and stuff. So we could maybe buy those at a discount and take those and turn those into a Blender render farm. So overnight, instead of this backroom's taking 24 hours to export, it might be 6 hours to export with all those machines overnight, right? I could wake up the next day and have something exported. Yeah, creating a local render server. And then once that's established and it's working for you, then you can extend it to maybe your friends, your coworkers, Discord servers, Patreon memberships, right? Hey, if you do Blender, you can tap into my render farm. I don't know what kind of cost it would look like on my end for Hydro or internet, if that changes anything, but it would for Hydro, but I don't think it would for internet, right? Just speed and delay. The faster internet, obviously, the better. But yeah, you can sell it. This is one thought I was having, right? How do you capitalize on your old machines? Like once something comes obsolete, right? Can you still somehow make money off of it, or transmute it into something else that you can use versus throwing it out? Yeah, exactly. Rent a server. Yeah. So that's one thought I had as I get more money. Yeah, it's conflicting, right? Like I want to start creating these little pools of businesses where they just slowly feed me money. And if I have enough of those to pay rent, then I can just focus on my main project, right? And just make sure I'm maintaining those things and they're working. But it might take a lot of money, a lot of time to get those things working right. So it might not be the right direction to take, but it's a thought. Okay, anyways, chord. Can we find a resolution to get that thing to stick in that hole? The only thing I can think of is we just keep spinning this, but our stuff is baked, so that's why it's not going to work. Does it matter? Can we just call it? Do we export it with a mistake? Are people going to notice? Are people going to see this? With everything happening. My soul's like, don't! But my brain's like, do it! Do it! They're not gonna know. You just want to get it done, right? And it's like, no. Can't cut corners. I'm already cutting enough corners. Eventually your PC will become obsolete. Whenever that happens, I'll just do that. Yeah, man. Might be not a bad plan. That or donate it, like my older machines. If there's friends that are trying to get into stuff, I usually just tend to give it to them, or huge discount than what I paid for it, because I've already made enough money off of it. But if that doesn't happen, then yeah, like this machine here, it's on the fritz, so that's why I don't want to give it or sell it to somebody. But get a new machine. This machine moves over to that. That machine moves over to that desk over there that just has a monitor on it. And then have 6 to 8 working machines that people can come and work on if they want, but only be myself. But the other thing too is virtual access too. Like some people can maybe, if they don't have a strong machine, they can just network into my stronger machine and do Blender that way. That's a thought too, eh? I've never done that before, but I wonder if older machines virtual access another machine, if the speed for them would be enough to be able to work, or if there would be lag or delay between each click. Anyways, I'm not a networker person. I think that's your job, isn't it? I feel like somebody was in here that had a network background and were getting into Blender in their free time. Yeah, remote connection is kind of what I'm getting at, yeah. Like, say you have a slow machine that can't run what I'm doing now, but you want to do what I'm doing now. Can you just remote access a machine that I have connected to the internet that's behind me? And then you just virtually use that machine with all its hardware. I'm just wondering if there's a delay in your visual of what you're trying to do. Because I know I tried to like connect iPhones and use them as a mouse to a computer, right? But there's just this connection delay type thing. Okay. Yeah, so that's another thought, right? Rent servers, or if people don't have access to a stronger machine, instead of you spending $3,000 to $6,000, just pay me a small membership fee, right? And then you can access it from 2 to 4, 1 to 7. I schedule people, right, to tap in. And then with this business model, unfortunately, if people don't access it, but they're paying the membership, right? So if people aren't using it, then I still have a bill for it because that's scheduled time that somebody else could have been using it for, right? And when that happens, I'm not using my hydro or internet, so a little window for profit. It's like people who eat all-you-can-eat salad, right? At the all-you-can-eat buffets. That's how I kind of look at that a little bit. Man. Oh, yeah, I think we just might have to call it because it's been literally a week to get to this point. I don't know what. Oh, because I didn't do the double empty connection this time around. I wonder why that would do that. That, and I redid the... It might have not been that. It might have just been because I redid the rope. Because there was parts where the vertices were off. So, yeah, just starting completely over again today fixed it, it seemed like. Why we didn't do that this weekend, or actually, no, it's not this weekend, sorry, Friday. It's beyond me. Anyways, yeah. If you're having problems, restart your machine. If you're still having problems, do the cleanup, purge, because that fixed some stuff today. If you're still having issues, just redo the whole process over again, and then maybe it fixes itself just by redoing it. Yeah, virtual machine. Yeah, I feel like there's a way to do it with Mac too. Can a Windows machine virtually... Oh, I might have to have parallels, I think it's called. Can a Windows machine virtually connect and control a Mac computer with Splash Top? While Mac computers and Windows run on different operating systems, you can still use a PC to remote into your Mac OS computer with Splash Top. With Splash Top, you'll never feel disconnected from your Mac. You'll be able to remotely access it from anywhere in the world. Buy now for $9.99. Yeah, remote desktop. Oh, you even get audio streaming. Huh, interesting. Well, and also I tried when I was doing this stuff. This was like 10 years ago, so hopefully this stuff is more better. Oh, interesting. I was going to just talk about that business too. That I I do content catalog management for a business online. And I have a Mac, they have a Windows, and I remote connect into their machine and download files. So I'm assuming if you can do that, you should be able to control. You just need to have a translator. Pricing, sorry, is what I'm looking at. Well, she ain't cheap. Well, actually, she's cheap on the outside. Sorry, I'm looking for some lip chap. I'm burning. Right here. $11 per user. I just don't know how this would work if I got, like, say, National to do it, right? Like, I would have to give him my username for this to be able to work. So I think for each person, we'd have to buy an individual. Okay. Cross that bridge when we get there, but options. Options for business. For older machines. Older machines, but stronger than other people's machines, right? So instead of collecting dust here, how can I leverage that to the people of the world? Like I would give a computer to a friend. Maybe I just don't give those computers away and just virtually open it up to people. And then start scheduling people on a calendar and time slots. And then, yeah, that's actually really cool thinking about it. My goal is to empower people, and that might be a way to empower people. But then I open up myself to people hacking me and stuff, right? If I'm not security and stuff with all that stuff. So, yeah. So I'm worried about all this YouTube stuff is 10 years down the road, some of the YouTubers now getting slapped with stuff. Well, rightfully so, but he said this word that no longer is okay to say 10 years ago. Burn them! Anyways. Okay, I think we're just calling it. Like, I'm just really wasting time, right? And are people going to really notice the mistakes? What would you guys do? These videos are really just getting 100 views. Like, I've had one up for like a year or two now, and it's like maybe like 100 views. I don't even know. I am new to Blender. There is a lot of stuff going on. I built the world wrong, and I should have redone everything from scratch. So we've just been building on a house of cards. Past couple weeks, we've leveled it up with lighting, shadows, particles. Right now, I'm just playing it back in shader mode, so it's going to look different. The only things wrong that I don't like about it is the cable isn't technically connected. I mean, I could spend the rest of my day, but it just baked it, which I don't really want to mess around with. The cable on the phone, and then oily and how he comes out. He should have been rigged. And the walls. There's a crack on the walls that I wanted to fix. The water not touching the bottom of the floor. But I think that has to do with the emitter. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of leaning on, Henry. I recognize it, but I think, like, what's the threshold? Like, is it 10% of people recognize it? Oh, it's okay to ship. Are 35% of people going to recognize it? Is it okay to ship? If it's anything more than 35, is it something that you want to fix? For me, it's always like try to push it like 90, 95 to 100, but you tend to spend an extra week, an extra 2 weeks. Then you get new ideas, and it becomes this thing, right? The thing with Blender, I can't remember. I got to find the person who taught me it on YouTube. But you can't call yourself a beginner or intermediate or expert until you have so many piloting hours. under yourself. Let's see if we can find this. And it was mind-blowing to me, like the degrees that he put people in. And I think you have to have like more than 10 projects exported and done before you can call yourself like you're good at Blender. Like anything beyond that is like 100. You can say that you're an expert. There's some kind of number, right, that he's explaining. So to what my point I'm making is just by exporting this, that's one tick towards that clocked hours. But at the same time, you're allowing mistakes to get through. But as long as you're mindful of those mistakes, you try those mistakes again, or you know a solution for those mistakes, then it's maybe just worth pushing on. Exactly, like experience points. I think that's maybe how Buddy was breaking it down. But that's the best way I feel like we should approach this if we're trying to learn and become something, is like you have your level 5 and then you get your like Fallout. I don't know if you play Fallout, but every so many levels you get like a mega perk, right? Each level you're getting status points, like your power level goes up, your defense goes up, but maybe level 5 you get a perk and then you get an additional ability, right? Level 5, oh, now I can motion track, or now I can do materials. That's how we kind of need to look at it a little bit. Everybody's entitled to do what they want, right? Or do what's best for them. But for me, I think that's maybe a good way to look at it and approach it. So one thing I gotta be mindful of, I keep saying like, this is what you gotta do, but it works different for each person, right? So if you guys hear me say this is what you gotta do, just be mindful that I'm trying to express an option for you to do. Doesn't necessarily mean that you should have to do it or you do it this way. Try it. If it doesn't work for you, then just modify those suggestions, right? There is no one way to do anything. Art is subjective, and how you achieve that art, you can do 1,000 different ways. So anyways, let's go and try to find this while we're just keeping an eye on things. Oops. I'm sorry, yeah, some of the YouTube stuff. I had a buddy come over and got into the weeds in YouTube. What am I looking for? Blender. I think I just saved it. It's probably better to find it. It's probably going to be near the end. Some good old, oh yeah. Inhuman. Yeah, I think it's going to be... You got a long ways to go. I got a lot of tutorials. Okay. Yeah, like even using ChatGPT to make 3D models, this video was interesting. They're getting really close, but you can't call yourself a modeler if you use that. Personally, it's a shortcut for something you should learn how to do. The hypocrite speaking here, somebody that uses add-ons. You should learn how to do it. And then I use add-ons. One thing that I find interesting is that whenever I'm stuck on an effect or whatever, I move on from it. I will learn it without wanting to. Yeah, exactly. It just sucks when you want to try to get over that little hurdle, right? And you can't. It's better to maybe put it on the back burner, try something else. And then through that, trying something else, you kind of figure out that initial thing that you're hooked up on. Then you go back to it and you're like, oh man, this project's garbage. I'm not going to finish it anyways. And then when you should just be like, hey, listen, it's going to take me a day or two just to finish it, right? Like just push through it. That low-hanging fruit. The things that are like, oh man, this project's not worth finishing, just finish it anyways, right? Because then you can add that to your experience points, your clocked hours, versus just saying, oh yeah, I had this project that I was working on. I never got around to exporting it, but it looked pretty cool. Whereas if you had an export, you could actually show somebody, right? Put it up on your YouTube channel and have 100 videos versus no videos. Anyways. And over time, right, it's kind of good to show the progress too. I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's garbage. I don't want to put it up. I don't want to show people. But if people know you're kind of starting off, I don't think they're going to give you a hard time for it. Not ringing a bell. I think this is it. This is it, I think. This is a good channel too, Smeef. I forgot about this guy. I did learn a bit from him. I think it's this. Yep, yeah, this is it. So I would, I'm gonna probably drop this in the Discord. It's a short one too. It's like 8 minutes long. It's not too long, but definitely a good one to absorb. Took you 2 projects to understand texture painting, and I only figured it out while I was watching a random video on YouTube. I bought a course from him. It was like $10 from Smeef. I don't know if I've... Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if I've watched tutorials from him. I think it's more of just like these types of videos. Maybe a couple AI things. Can't remember. But I obviously subscribed to something. And it's weird I didn't have it saved in my thing. Product and oh, maybe that's where I saw that. You're ringing a bell, actually. Smeef. Because there was one product tutorial, and I was like, damn, I think it was a lipstick or something that I was talking about before. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen the, buy that somewhere on Blender Market or Gumroad. But yeah, that 8-minute video is pretty eye-opening. It was a good one. Really check yourself. Make sure that you're not... your ego's not getting the better of you. Think you're a modeler. You've only done a couple things. Okay. Yeah, I think we're just going to call this an export, or at least push on it. And see if see what the export process is like. Because I feel like we're pushing 24 hours. So we'll have to do this over a couple nights unless we can find a way to optimize, which might not be a bad plan. I still have an hour, I think. But I should probably go out and get that stuff done. I was talking about before, render image. Let's take a look and see what each frame takes. Yeah, that's what how much money have I spent on tutorials? There's been a handful of tutorials where I'm like, oh man, I could have just got that off YouTube easily. Or what they showed me was just like, they didn't teach me how to do it. They just showed me how to make what they wanted, right? They didn't teach me why they were extruding an edge or mirroring or projecting a material onto a surface. Like, but they just showed me how to do it, but they didn't really like teach me the things where I could apply it to future use cases. If I want to make that city alleyway, then I can go back to that, right? But there was nothing really transferable. Despite it being fun and like the outcome being really cool. Actually, no, this isn't it. What am I trying to do? Blender cost. $90, not a big deal. 90, and I think maybe $10 on there or something. So $100 in tutorials. I don't think I have anything on Blender Market. And I've done about half of them, I think. So that's the other thing. If you buy a tutorial, definitely do it, right? That's going to be the worst use of money, buying a tutorial and never doing it. It's like, it's not the Matrix. Just because you own it doesn't mean you're going to automatically know it, right? Owning a book doesn't mean you know the knowledge in that book. You have to read it and maybe do it a few times over. What am I trying to do? Orders. Yeah, I don't think there was any tutorials. Yeah. I'm curious into tutorials. I have a handful bookmarked, but No. I looked at Udemy. It was Wingfox because they had some kind of sale on. But then the tutorials I did buy from there are available on Blender Market. So I don't think I'll be buying much from these guys anymore. Unfortunately. But if one tutorial is probably on there, and then these would just be add-ons and models. But yeah, lots on YouTube. Definitely scrape YouTube before you throw some money, unless there's a specific course, right? I think I have a couple where they're like 20 hours long. I think the longest one I've purchased is probably 6 or 8 hours. So I'm curious what those 20-hour ones are in comparison to the like the 6 to 8 hours. Because I feel like those might be more teacher type based stuff, like the donut tutorial type stuff, where that kind of teaches you how to use the tool for other projects. So 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Oh, and actually I should fix the cord. Why is it doing all that squiggly? Well, that's enabled. $70 hours? No, like those are the ones that kind of excite me. Don't excite me because it's like a lot of hours to invest, right? And those 70 hours might turn into 140 hours because you're pausing and stopping and maybe taking notes. So be mindful of maybe tacking on 30% to maybe double the time just in case. Be realistic of how long it's going to take you to learn something and devote the time. If you're doing scheduling, right, just make sure you give yourself enough time to actually absorb it. But those 70 ones excite me because, like, I haven't done one, but makes me think that there's actually value behind it. Why would it be 70 hours long? I don't know if there are 70 ones, 68 hours. Because, yeah, that's a lot of hours, right? That's, what, 2 days, 3 days? Yeah, 3 days. Just under 3 days. Full time, like not taking a bathroom break, just full time at the computer, right? Just to get it done. So yeah, you're looking at a good week, 2 weeks minimum probably for that tutorial, if not a month. But that's kind of like online courses, college courses, all that kind of stuff, right? They'll 3-month program to get your degree and mechanical auto shop, whatever it is, right? Might be more than 3 months, but that's how you look at those training courses, is kind of like under that lens a little bit. Taking the training course, you're not going to have like a certificate that'd be like, oh, I got this thing done. But you could, if you wanted, right? On your resume, you could say, hey, I've invested over 200 hours in various Blender tutorials. And you can even define them, motion tracking and whatnot. Maybe for your first couple clients, right? If you have nothing to really show for them, you could flex some of the training that you went through, no different than going to school. Like you have 2 different school diplomas, right? Well, why not add in some of that training stuff? Maybe even point it to them if you want. But that's my thinking for that stuff. Oh, and see, yeah, even if you find websites like that where they offer courses or certificates, then definitely invest in that stuff, right? Because then you'll have that piece of paper to get you a little bit closer to an actual job, right? Real job. Real job being like within like a marketing company, or I'm just trying to give an example that isn't local here. Like you could be working for Sony or McDonald's or something, right? Like with maybe some of those pieces of papers. Freelance, you don't need to really worry about that too much unless you're trying to get a McDonald's or something client, then maybe that's when the paper kind of comes out. But anyways, getting in the weeds a little bit on that one. But just try to recognize where you can capitalize on your time investments where you can. Yeah, I don't think Blender Market does the certificates, but they have a ton of tutorial stuff. Yeah, this is the guy that I watch tutorials from. He's taught me a few things. But this is one for National. I don't think I have this one. But we got you some Metro train, city train stuff. There's a tutorial that you can purchase, and he shows you how to build it. I'm not sure if you're watching there, National, but kind of know you're similar, right? Same space. Start with your blocks and then slowly expand on stuff. But he runs you through on how to do it. I don't think he's here right now, but yeah, keep on it, man. Keep on trucking. Keep on stepping. Brap, brap, yup. Come on now. Why are you not wanting to work? Okay. Let's see what oily's looking like. What was I gonna say? I said I had an hour. I was gonna do something in that hour. I don't remember. How long have we been streaming for? Just jammed for a couple hours. 2 hours, okay. We've hit that threshold. But maybe push it to 3 and then I'm gonna call it. I've gotta go do some errands that I didn't quite get around to this weekend. Still waiting for the client too. They were gonna be sending that off this morning, but I haven't heard back. But I'm hoping by the time I get home, I'll have heard something. If I haven't, hopefully tomorrow. And then if we haven't heard from anybody, I'm going to be exporting back rooms whenever I can. Does that mean we just keep exporting through tomorrow and don't stream, or come on and stream and just watch it render frame by frame? Would you guys want to watch it render frame by frame and hang out? Or just jam when I'm actually doing stuff? Because we do have 24 hours to get this done. Once we get this done, then we can start jumping into David if we're waiting from client stuff to wrap up that thought. David, or jump into some tutorial stuff with you guys if there's anything specific. Might have a little window to do that, but again, I'd like to get into David right now, or as soon as possible. Not right now, but as soon as possible. Not have to worry about back rooms. Only have to worry about client and David. Okay. So yeah, that'd be a reason to come on and just do the rendering during the night when I'm sleeping. Just extend it an extra day. Let's get this render, see what that's going to be. But yeah, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. See if I can do math again today. We should build a calculator in a Google Sheet to figure this out. That would be handy. 2 minutes and 45 seconds. So that is 160 seconds, 170 seconds times 1095. That's how many frames we have. Oops. So that's how many seconds it's going to take to export. So we do minutes. It's going to take that many minutes. It's going to take that many hours. It's going to take that many days. So yeah, we're a little bit more than 24 hours. Unfortunately. So times 24, put it back on hours, divided by 8 hours a night. It's going to take us 6.5 days to export this. If we export 8 hours a night, give or take. So it's going to take us a week to export this. And that's if there's no mistakes. If there's a mistake, then we have to, well, it's 1095, I think, at 24 frames, 23.976, 24 frames. 1095 times divided by 24, 45 seconds. This is the entire animation in length. If we were to play it back after it's exported, 45 seconds. I think that's what you're asking. 6.5 days at 8 hours a day of exporting to watch 45 seconds of animation. Pretty nuts. I wish I didn't delete it. I did find that Transformer thing finally, but there was like an example for a Transformer 2 movie where if they didn't use a render service, it would have took them 22.5 years to export with their setup that they had. Because they used a render service, they were able to get it out in like 24 hours or something. But it was going to take them 22.5 years to export full time for the robot worm scene in Transformers 2. $38 hours for one frame. It's taken us 3 minutes for one frame. It was taking them 38 hours to do one frame of this movie. And I spelled worm wrong. Worm as in magic worm. It's with an O. But yeah, this scene here, one of those frames was taking 38 hours to render out. That is nuts. And I think that entire scene was, 15 minutes maybe? 20 minutes? Yeah, entire warehouse. We'll get there, right? With our rendering thing that we're talking about. Eventually, we're just going to have a bunch of old machines. We're going to throw them in a U-Haul storage rental locker. But yeah, this is the world that I'm like, man, I want to make all this stuff, but then your machines and the render time, it's mind-blowing how long it takes. It's not taking us 38 hours to make this scene. Why would it take 38 hours to export? But yeah. What do you know? 2.5. So there's varying scenes that are going to be more or less. So then now what we can do is try to optimize using some add-ons or maybe some tutorials. I think that's maybe what I was going to do in the next hour is try to optimize. Because if we can get her down to 45 seconds, then we can wake her up tomorrow morning and have her done versus another 6 days of exporting. What am I looking for? I am looking for polygonic. There we go. We are doing this. Maybe let's watch a tutorial. Memory saver. Advanced features.
We do get sponsored by Origin PCs. Yeah,
That'd be sick, right? Like, I do have connections to a online Blender render farm. I was working with a guy. He's trying to find case studies and use cases, and I was letting him use some of my projects to kind of understand what noobs are doing for rendering and why it takes so long. So I can always reach back out to him and see what he's up to. But he might be able to sponsor the YouTube channel potentially. And we can maybe explore using his service. But yeah, to your point, like Origin, like PCs, like imagine going to a PC company that's like trying to advertise to just Blender people, right? It's like, hey, we're just starting a YouTube channel. We don't have a lot of followings, but look at my record, right? Maybe 3 months from now, like almost every day broadcasting on Windows machine, looking to step it up, and here's a good case study for you guys to do. If you give me a machine, I'll run everything I can at it and try to be fair, but not also like too criticizing, right? Since it's a free machine. But I don't even know if this is actually going to help us out, right? Is this just for the viewport, or is this for also rendering out? And that makes me think it's like how to tell. Actually, let's do ChatGPT for this. Probably be quicker. Yeah, need another affiliate link, another affiliate code. Get it up into Govi's not cutting it. You guys aren't buying enough Govi lights. Just kidding. I'm totally just kidding. That was an easy one. Anybody can get that one. It's not a hard one. What am I trying to say? How to... I'm rendering out of Blender. Is there a way that we can tell Blender not to render, compute any of the objects that we don't see? I want to say I don't have that enabled, and if there was a way that it might reduce our render time per frame. Is there anything of the sorts? Black Friday, is that, I guess, yeah, it's coming up, right? Depending on where you guys are at. I feel like our Black Friday is after Christmas. I don't know. I stopped shopping Black Fridays after people started getting trampled and killed. I didn't want to be a part of that. And I used to work retail, and it was just absolutely nuts. I think I only ever did it when my mom lived here. She enjoyed going out and shopping, right? So I kind of just did it with her. But since she moved, yeah, I don't think I've done any of this. Black Friday. When is? Holy Hannah. Come on, use brain. When is Black Friday 2024 in Canada? November 29th. Yeah, actually I did buy Amazon, actually, a couple of things. I don't buy a lot of things on Amazon, but they had some hard drives. It's a good time to buy hard drives. Hard drives are usually like a good 40 to 60% off sometimes. External hard drives, like I do a lot of video editing, right? So every time I get a client, I put them on an external hard drive. So yeah, probably take a look at that. Maybe take a look at some machines. Like, do you have any go-to spots for Black Friday? Is there a machine I should be looking at if you had the money that you would buy? Because I don't know anything about Windows, so if you guys can point me in the right direction. Make it like a Mac experience for me where I just have to hit buy. I'm down to maybe explore it. But usually I'm like WOCDs for some really good Mac stuff. Probably pre-built because I just don't know what I'm doing. So there might be degrees where it's like, here's your basic to get into Blender, pre-built, right? Or if you guys know, it's like, because like here, I'll show you my experience on Apple. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to buy an Apple computer before, but this is how we shop our computers. So if you can make it like this for me, where I have 3 options. You have your maximum computer, you have your middle computer, and you have your beginning computer. That's how I prefer, but I know I probably should have to learn these things. Actually, no, I'm looking for their big bad boy, the one that I don't have. I don't have the biggest, baddest. But we're going to go to buy. Well, for me, for budget, I don't think there's going to be a budget. Well, obviously, I don't want to spend $100,000, but if you watch my screen, this is the price that a Mac can go up to. So M2 core, 24 cores, 72 GPUs, which is double, I think, what I have now. I think it said 48 cores in Blender. Actually, I can just go to Blender here. System. 48 cores currently. So this machine has like, yeah, double that. We're going to go with 102 gigabytes of memory. I only have 64. We're not going to maximize the SD. We can just always get external hard drives. We don't need wheels for $500, so we'll skip on that. Comes with a mouse. We don't need any of the programs. So yeah, that's how much the machine's going to cost me. Whew, 32. Okay, yeah. So not 100,000. I think this is the ceiling of what I'm going to be willing to spend. I don't want to spend that by any means, but if I'm looking at creating an animated series and getting into professional 3D work, then I need to obviously spend the money for the next 3 to 5 years. The reality is maybe 1 to 5 clients will pay that off. So I'm sure I can get 1 to 5 clients in the next 3 years. So that's how you can justify this, but you can't justify that until you have a little bit more hours under your belt. I also don't have debt, but I have a lot of credit that I can tap into, so I can actually go into debt to get this, whereas a lot of people have a lot of debt currently. And then just slowly pay that off as long as I'm sticking to my expense sheet, making sure that I'm only spending so much on meals and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, that's the top best, right? And for Mac, I think at the moment that'd be the top best. So again, I don't need that. Do I need 76 GPUs? My reality is, do I even need a new machine? Like, my machine might be good enough. It's just that when I look at the M4, if it's going to be 2 times stronger than my machine now, then I think it might be worth doing the investment. If it's 0.5 stronger, no. If it's 1.5 stronger, probably not. But anything past the 2 mark, it's like, okay, now it's actually might make sense to buy another machine. And then just do that chain that we're talking, right? That machine becomes the video editor, or people start tapping into it, right? My older machines, I don't think we can do the tapping into for virtuals, but if I move my Mac Studio over, then that's something that people can maybe tap into. But yeah, I'm going to look up some of these things that you're mentioning, sorry. Quadros graphics card. Hey. But yeah, like, I don't know what all my components are, right? But you can have one graphics card the price of the machine. And that's nuts. NVIDIA stocks. Apple stocks. Yeah. I was wondering, I saw an event from NVIDIA where they're talking about their graphics cards that are coming out, and it was just absolutely mind-boggling. Why it didn't increase after that is beyond me, but I have a feeling NVIDIA, the way that I saw that video, they might surpass Apple, which is going to be interesting. Yeah, if I can get double the GPU setup, it'd be pretty OP. Yeah, I only ever got to use Nvidia once, and when I did have it, I was like, oh, it's so sick. And then Apple got off Nvidia and went to Intel, and then it was just like, oh, After Effects isn't working as good because it doesn't have like the CUDA core, blah blah blah. So yeah, I'm if I go Windows, I'm leaning in Nvidia personally, but I don't know enough, right? I could be talking, just assuming, but. What was the other one that you recommended to me there? The 4090, NVIDIA 4090. The other thing too is there's also eGPUs, which I think I can now tap into with this eGPUs. With this Studio, I couldn't do it with my other machines, but I'm wondering if I could just buy those GPUs and then plug them into this eGPU casing, and then I just have another specifics graphics card that I can tell Blender, hopefully, shows up in here being like, hey, can you use this graphics card to render, right? I want to say that's how that works. Hui. Huh? I don't remember paying that much for my machine. Well, maybe it was like, oh, actually, yeah, it was maybe at 6,000, and then the monitor. So yeah, okay. Forgot how much I paid for it. Holy, hiya. But yeah, eGPUs. For the Duo, 4090 should cost around 10K. Although I don't know how you're doing with the electricity bill, so it's something that you have to. Yeah, I was curious about buying one of those like meters that you can plug your computer in, and it can tell you how much wattage you're using. My hydro bill is like $50 or $60 a month, which I should probably pay. I think that's what this is. Thank you. We should probably do that. I hate how some services you can't just have them automatically charge you. You got to send them the money. It's like, just bill me for it. Yeah, I'm looking at $71.50. But this is, yeah, it tells you off peak hours. So it tells me the cents, like 18 cents, 12 cents, 9 cents for certain hours. So I'm assuming it would only be like 9 cents if we're talking about rendering overnight, right? Like 9 cents per kilowatts. But during the day, on peak hours, it'd be like 20 cents, which is insane. So there's a part of me that should go night owl, where I'm just operating just in the off hours so that my hydro bill gets reduced so I can save $20. So I had a previous balance of $8, so $63, $64 is what my hydro bill is looking like. And that's with the computer being on standby 24/7, and then lights in my daily usage. I try to keep all the lights off when I can. But yeah. Blender machine. Blender machine. Render 20 times faster. So instead of 6.5 days, it would be what, 6.5 hours? Shopping. Intel. detail. Yeah, I don't need any like fancy lights or anything. I just need something to work. Like the Mac Studio, right? I like elegance and just simplicity. The PSU should tell you the info because it says power. Okay. Yeah, that's the stuff I don't know about. Hence, if you guys can just make it a shopping experience where... Do you want the highest graphics card? Do you want the medium's graphics card? But even the memory, 192 megs of memory. Like, that's probably going to be a game changer from the 64. Like, if I had 128, would I need a new machine? I think, like, my limitation right now is the memory, and I can't crack this machine and add more memory to it. Like, I could, but it's going to void... it's out of warranty anyways, I guess, now at this point. I don't know if I would. But yeah, if I would have got the 128 megs, maybe that's the hiccups that I'm experiencing. Maybe I could have got just the power I needed. But it was an extra $2,000 for RAM, and I'm like, that's not worth it. I'll go buy an eGPU and hope that does it or something, right? But yeah, I don't know about the eGPU stuff, but a Radeon, I'm assuming you could use NVIDIA. How cool would that be instead of buying a whole new machine? Maybe I could just parallels Windows. I spelled it wrong. Just install Parallels on my Mac computer so I can run Windows on a Mac computer and then run it through an eGPU. Memory is something you can always upgrade on a Windows, yeah, for sure. That's what I liked about it. And GPUs and stuff, right? Easily swap out stuff. But Mac has that, right? With you just have to buy the right one. I had to buy the cheese grater in order to do that. These other ones are sealed up tight. This guy will let you pop stuff in and out. I do like their website shopping experience. It's pretty tight. But it's pretty simple compared to some of those flashy lights and water cooling tubes and fish tank inside of your machine. But this monitor is stupid. I love the monitor, but the cost for it was just not worth it. Anyways. Yeah, you're stuck. You're stuck. Unless you get the cheese grater with wheels. $500 for wheels. What is it? $400 to make my monitor come out a little bit. Like, get out of here. Nobody's got money for that. I'd rather buy $400 worth of add-ons. Speaking of which, where is National? Where are you at with your stuff, dude? How's your Trump project going? Oh yeah, 1K. Yeah, not $400. Yeah, but I would like to get one more, so I have two, but stupid. Part of me kind of wants to be like, well, you can't even edit or anything, but like start editing with that and go full Wall-E style, but what am I trying to do? Studio displays. Yeah, $2,000 for a monitor. And then you have your $7,000 monitor. Like, get out of here. $6,000. Even at that, I shouldn't have done it. But I gotta say, it's got some wicked audio. Some of those movie trailers are pretty tight. Editing on it's pretty tight. But that's a regret. That was a regret purchase. That's one that I wish I could go back on a little bit. But now that I have it, another thought is like, if I do get another Mac Studio, right? I already have a nice monitor. I don't have to buy another monitor. you had to IMAX every year, you got a new display, right? Which, I don't know, pros and cons, but that was kind of justification getting this monitor is I can plug stuff into it as I get stronger machines. But if I go on Windows, am I going to be able to use this? Anyways, rambling. What were we doing in Blender? We were just testing out some stuff and start setting up the export, because maybe we can export while I'm out and about, chew through some frames at least. Maybe we should just render the phone area first too. See what that looks like. Yeah, let's do that. So we're not spending 6 days and then to find out. We have 2 phone cords in the same spot. I think I already did a test frame. But let's change our start to 800 frames. Do a test before we hit animation, and then I'll export, and then I think we might color a wrap on the stream unless there's anything people want to jam on. I hope you're doing all right there, National. Sorry, I kind of got into my own little space. Henry, oh, you've been broadcasting. I haven't been noticing. Sorry, dude. Oh, nice. Got the modeling going on. Very, very nice. Oh, dude, that's cool. The traffic light head. I dig that. That's cool. Yeah, that's what I wanted, something like that for Oily, where he was like really bony, but I just grabbed a model. Actually, I used that human creator kit and just like made him super thinny. But yeah, being able to model it yourself would be just so cool. I'm jealous. Definitely jealous. Yeah, keep up the work there, man. That's good. Oh, the CCT. Sorry, yeah, didn't touch it this weekend. I had my mom over this weekend, and she stayed an extra day, so I didn't quite get to it. Normally she goes to bed early too, but she was up late. We were watching movies and jamming and talking like old times. It was nice. But yeah, my plans was like if she went to bed at 8, right, then I'd have 4 or 5 hours to jam. But by the time I went to bed, I was pretty tired. So fortunately, CCT, I do not have a delivery date for it, but it is on my list. CCT template. Maybe when I get back later today, I can chew on my own low-hanging fruit. One of them being some of those YouTube channel stuff, the CCT. That's awesome. We got a little name for it. I mean, I'm not sold on it, but at least it rolls off the tongue nice. But yeah, we can do some YouTube stuff, get that out to you guys, so that way you can start fleshing out some of your story ideas. Just keep reminding me. If you don't see it coming, just like, hey man, how's the CCT going? And then it's going to put a little fire under my butt. But we'll try to do it later today, this week. Yeah, start looking at a computer. Actually, let's make a list of that. Actually, that's going to be down here. That's with the better internet. I should actually do that too, because I could probably save some money per month, which then translates to more money for this computer. What am I trying to say? Research the Windows machine that you should get. Look at the NVIDIA 4090s. NVIDIA's 4090s and what was the other one? Quadros graphic cards. Compare a Windows Blender versus M4 Studio. Okay, so that's on there eventually to tackle. Not right now. It'll be like summer. I also like summer next year, I think, is when this new machine will be coming out. So gonna try to last until then. How's things, National? I'm not sure if you're back or not there, but hope you're doing good. Just want to check in on you before we shut down the stream in the next 10-15 minutes, I think, to go and do my errands, and then I'll try to be back on later, but I have no exact time. I lost you in the politics there. Sorry, I was talking about my computer and all that kind of stuff. Wasn't really watching your screen, so apologies for that. But it seemed like you were getting some stuff down there. I noticed you got like a suit forum and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know if you got to the animating point. That's where I wasn't super attentive, but yeah, Henry's crushing the modeling. He's got a pretty cool guy going on in his screen. It's exciting to see you guys. Seeing everybody kind of push on their own little projects. Maybe try to also take some pictures, some screenshots as you go. That way we can kind of have a record of where you guys were, where we go, where we all go. Maybe we can make like a hardcore montage at the end of the year of all our community members and the different projects, where they started, where they're going. The 100 subscriber thing is actually still kind of a thing to do too. We're still at 101, so we still have an opportunity. 100 subscriber animation. We can maybe look at the text. That could be the tutorial thing. Maybe the first thing we look at. How do we make 3D text and a quick YouTube animated short? Nice. Yeah, I think that's my problem with modeling is I don't know if I have enough patience. Because like you really have to kind of like take your time and mold, right? Trial and error. Like you might get 10 hours into doing the chest and you're like, oh, frame is wrong. Got to start over, right? And then you're kind of going back from the beginning. I guess it's with anything, but the modeling, it would just suck. You're doing the sculpture and then you break something at the end and you got to do it all over again, right? So I definitely have a mad respect for people who can do modeling digitally and more so in real life, because like those Leonardo da Vinci and all those types of statues right back in the day. Imagine the last detail, you're chiseling out the nose and you take the nose off. Couldn't imagine. Oh, ZBrush in college, yeah. I had access to it, but never did it. Not in college, but just through Red Giant, I think, their membership. Well, it's definitely, you're remembering it. I've definitely seen tutorials. I watched tons of tutorials on the stuff that you're doing, but I couldn't tell you how you're selecting everything like that, but I've seen it before. Yeah, the selection tool, yeah. Where are we at with my test frame here? 220. And everything's looking good. Alrighty, let's start the render process. Curious, rendering and streaming. And then going into Premiere or After Effects while we're doing all this. Will my machine cook eggs? Will it cook itself? Next time on episode Dragon Ball Z. find out if Sam has melted his Mac Studio. Will he need to buy a new graphics card? We will find out on the next episode. I don't know if you guys watch Dragon Ball Z, but I'm assuming. I always love those little, the guy rallying you up, especially as a kid. Oh, it was so brutal. Every week you're like, oh yeah, I'm so excited for that episode. And then they'd restart the whole season. Like you'd be like seeing Frieza or Cell, and then you'd go to watch like them finish fighting. And then you'd start back from season 1, episode 1, and play it all over again. Oh, it was so bad. You don't have those problems nowadays. You can just digitally download it, access it. I don't know. The other thing I could do too is just like leave my stream running. Like, I don't know, Henry, is there an element to like just leaving my stream running and rendering, or probably for the, I guess just for the longevity health of my computer, it probably makes sense to kill the stream. What I'm getting at is like I leave for 2 or 3 hours. Would people want to come and see the progress of where I'm at rendering, or would it just make sense to kill the stream and then just let Blender do its thing without streaming at the same time? Even for me, it'd be kind of interesting, right? Like if I'm out and about, because I don't drive, so if I'm on the bus, right, so I can check YouTube and see where I'm at in the render. That would be kind of interesting. Check on people on the stream. But there's also maybe an element to keeping things separate, a little break from everybody. Yeah, I'd end up deleting a face, forget that I delete a face, and then finish my model and realize his butt cheeks are missing or something. Then I have to try to fill them back in, but then I fill in multiple things. That's the extent of my modeling. I got to that and I'm like, ugh, not today. We'll learn that another day, or let somebody else do it. There's enough hats to wear. Loop. Yeah, the traffic light head is interesting. What got you on that? Original thought or inspired by something? Because it's interesting. Never thought about that before, or hadn't seen it before. Yeah, it's neat. It's an interesting. Interesting aesthetic for an entity type thing. Oh yeah, cool, man. Yeah, you got. See, it looks like a person kind of looking around the thing. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. It's unique, that's for sure. And then yeah, I could just imagine it animating, like say it's a backrooms creature or something, like chasing somebody, and then the lights are flickering on it. Hand walk, go to walk, hand to stop. One thing that could maybe use a hand with, I'm not sure if you like designing robots. Oh, Siren Head, okay. Yeah, I think I've seen Siren Head before. It's kind of similar. Now that you mention it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've seen that before. So yeah, instead of a siren, lights. So yeah. Somebody hadn't quite done it. Okay, what was I saying? What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. 1 second. robots, right? So. Oh, robot design. Thank you. Yeah, I got squirrel brains lately. I was doing that all the time with my mom. Rambling and then losing my train of thought where I was going with stuff. Okay. Robot designs. Yes. There's going to be some robots in my series, and I trying to design a couple, but there is definitely some space there for some unique designs for some like organics maybe mixed with robots, right? Stuff that people haven't really seen before. I would love to try to create a new type of robot. So if somebody saw it in the trailer, they're like, oh man, I love robots, and I hadn't seen that before. There's a new movie coming to Netflix, Electric State. I saw this trailer the other day, and I'm like, oh, perfect. Great inspiration for some robot designs. And this character at the end of it is actually kind of like the type of character that I want my main hero robot to be, but obviously smaller, not massive. But he does something at the end of the trailer I just absolutely love. Anyways. Yeah, but let's say if we like, if we use like Midjourney, and I have some general looks of like what I want. Would you be able to then make it into a 3D object that then we could start animating? Cool. Yeah, I saw some of the big names like attached to it for the directors at the end of the trailer. But I got there's like an emotional attachment to it for some reason. Like I was like, oh man, I can't wait. This is so good. It looks so good. I probably watched the trailer like 20 times over. Yeah, it should be an interesting one. But yeah, with Midjourney, to finish that thought, I have like a bunch of, those were just random robots. But one element that I would love is like create a massive robot, kind of like Electric State. When I saw those giant robots, I'm like, oh man, hopefully people like that, right? So by the time Electric State comes out, maybe a year when I make this, there will be some kind of association or a following that people will just automatically gravitate if they see this in a trailer. But I only have one giant robot. Yeah, it's hard. I don't want to give away too much, but the prequel, this thing's destroying the planet, then somebody ends up destroying it, then it lays dormant for thousands of years, and then our heroes end up finding it and living inside of it. That's what the episode 2 is. So designing something that also is a robot in the prequel that is doing stuff, but then also functions as a house for its insides in another episode. So if you're learning, just kind of throwing you out where I'm going, and if there's something to bite onto or some overlap as you're learning, maybe you're designing certain robots and we can leverage them into what I'm doing, or vice versa, whatever, right? But yeah, that robot's going to be a huge part in my story. So creating a design that facilitates its life afterwards. I don't know what it looks like. I just want a giant robot that's a miner type thing that's mining for resources. And then when it falls and gets buried in mountains and dirt, that it later becomes a home for David and his father, Ethan, which then gets raided by the military base eventually. Military guys. Sorry, check my stream. Also, if you check stream. Oh, so the glowy capsule thing, is that what you're showing me? Yeah. Like, I have a part in my story where there's, so Sentinel is one of the robots from the first inhabitants, and he destroys the giant robot. But Sentinel has celestial rain inside of him, so the celestial rain could live inside of this container that you're showing me. Later on, Sentinel goes into dormant mode, and he also lives for 1,000 years, but in dormant mode. Our heroes goes and finds him, and then they find an actual like power source inside of him, and they don't realize it. But when they take the power source out for themselves to heal somebody, they end up killing Sentinel that was in dormant mode. But then they use that power source to then heal Evie, who is poisoned by a plant, and then she becomes mechanical because of it. But it all revolves around this power source. And interesting enough, that power source you showed me could potentially work for it, but I don't want to steal it from you, don't want to take it from you, but I'm seeing some overlap, some stuff that we can do together, so that'd be pretty cool if you're down to do that. No pressures, just an option. But yeah, robot design, character design. I really need to find an awesome robot design for my robot companion that follows David around. Right now, I don't have anything. The closest that comes to mind for that is Robo from Chrono Trigger. I don't know if you ever played that Chrono Trigger. Something along the lines of that for some reason, but not that. Anyways, there's lots to talk about that robot in my series, but. Yeah, the Wild Robot. When I saw that came out, I'm like, oh man, that's my character that follows my guy around. I even wrote it's called Robot. His name's Robot. I haven't figured out a name for him yet, but he's just called Robot. It's the typical name. But when you first see him, he's actually a child. And then when you see him later on, he's actually like a teenager. Like Ethan, the person that created his body, actually builds him like a teenager body and then transfers his consciousness into that teenager body, then builds him like an exosuit, and then Robot becomes an exosuit. So there's like a degree that he gets older as well alongside of David. But when I saw the Wild Robot, I had wrote a short. Robot's introduction in my series was him getting lost in the forest as the child robot. And then either a lemming or the mechanical cat finds him out in the forest lost and then brings him back to the home base. And I have a music track picked out for it. Oh, it's going to be so good. But anyways, I don't know if I can do it now because literally the Wild Robot came out and it's so close to that episode or that character reveal trailer that I had in mind to do. But everything's been done before. If Wild Robot's getting amazing reviews, if somebody sees an element of that in my trailer, maybe it might bring them over and watch it, right? So there's not a negative to somebody beating me to the punch, essentially, even though that we're kind of different. My lemmings war. They rise up. Oh, sorry. National's back. I was looking for you. Yeah, I can hear you. I got you. Sorry about that. I was checking in on you earlier. I missed you. Oh, you were here the whole time. My bad. How's things going? Oh, sorry. You're like, I'm trying to speak to you. Why isn't he seeing this? Yeah, I was looking over once in a while at you, and I just saw kind of a blank desktop, so I wasn't sure if you were around. But the last I saw, you had Trump on like a suit. He had a body or something. That was the last time I saw you working. Yeah, it's all good. I got you. Yeah, I was watching him because he's doing some modeling. Hadn't seen his screen before. Yeah, I got both chats open. I got my Discord in my main window and then the chat on the right. I was mostly on YouTube there, for sure. Oh, I see. You've been messaging me. Yeah, maybe that's on me. Yeah, I do see all those. Anyways, sorry. Apologies. There's lots of things to be mindful of. YouTube chat, Discord, and then I'm also doing my own stuff while trying to talk and carry conversations. So yeah, just shout at me like you've done to get my attention, and I'll try to come over. But What are you working on? What's your deal? What's going on? Because I probably gonna head out after you show me what you're up to. Some reference images. Oh, cool! You found a image generator. Nice. That's good. Yeah, you don't need to spend money, right? They're out there. Yeah, you probably only get so many picture generations per month, I would assume, or per day. You might get limited. Yeah, it looks like you can create some cool ones. The cat with the treat. Yeah, I have a couple of them too, but I haven't installed them. Mac has a couple for them now. Well, actually, come December, they're having a whole new artificial intelligence operating system. Not sure how I feel about that, but nice. Yeah, that's what I figured. It's definitely. I remember when I did have it installed. Whenever they were generating images, my computer started cooking eggs again. Oh yeah, actually, these are the main robots that I want to try to build. They're going to be epic. There's going to be a fight scene that I don't think we've ever seen before. It looks like you got some horse reference images going on your... Or at one point you were looking at horses for National. Oh, right, I gotta check the chats that you're sending me, sorry. I'm working on some references, gonna use Lightroom. It's a mid-journey replacement, there's option for more. Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely not like 100% sold on them, but as you can see what I used for my variation of generation, I used this and kept clicking variations until I got this. They need to be kind of more... less Count Dooku. But the main thing that we see in these guys is that the creator Ethan, he's been working on them the whole time, kind of ignoring David, which causes David to rebel. But when the people come and start fighting and trying to take over their home, Ethan activates these guys. He stands in one spot and they move so fast that when people shoot at Ethan, those guys actually block the bullets, like with their weapons and swords and stuff like that, but they're moving so fast that you can't actually see them. And then the military force is like, super exosuits, and then they turn on your visors, and then they drop visors, and then they can actually see the robots move around. And then eventually they bring in exosuits to fight against these things, and then that's when Ethan sacrifices himself, and these guys drill into Ethan and then turn him into an exo super type guy. And then Ethan ends up fighting them off until the leader comes and kills them. But just the vision of the fight I have in mind. And then afterwards, David doesn't see the fight. He comes back home after the aftermath, but he sees like a holographic recording of the area. So he'll be walking towards his father, but he'll be stepping through holographic recordings of the fight that just happened. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty emotional scene, I think, and pretty badass, but anyways. Can ramble about it. I got to get on it. Got to start making it instead of stop talking about it. But yeah, this is where he's morphed with the robots. Obviously, it's a bad job, right? But that's when he's morphed, and then David comes home and sees him laying like that. but then there's like a message left for him. It's like, oh, you got to stop them. I hid something. They weren't able to find it here. You need to find it before they do. Kind of the R2-D2 moment. Princess Leia. And then that's what kickstarts our whole series, is after that. Episode 3, beyond that. Cool. You're back. Warframe. Warframe was a cool game. I never finished it, but I love the aesthetics of it. It was nice. And yeah, that's a good idea. I haven't actually thought about using this as references. Yeah, that would be cool. Like eventually I might have been talking about it where we have like the Vision Ultron type person, right? But maybe they can be more like this. A little more sinister, maybe. Gonna multitask. Well, I'm gonna be getting off shortly. I just didn't want to leave you hanging. I thought you wanted to maybe show me something, but I should probably go and do that other stuff because I'm rendering out of Blender right now, so there's not much I can do on my end. I'm just kind of hanging out, jamming, talking. What I like about Warframe is like the Halo type stuff, right? That's really cool. I'm a big fan of that stuff. Yeah, I like the Halo-y type stuff. That stuff's cool. Cool. Well, it sounds like maybe it might be a good time to do a little breaky poo. Hopefully you're good, National. If you're multitasking, you're got lots of stuff going on by the sounds of it. Emails, phone calls. Are you getting clients now? Slinging some Blender work. No, I'm just joking. Cool. Alrighty, well, you clean your room. I'm gonna go clean my life. I need to go get some groceries. I never did like a grocery shop the other day when I did say I was going out. I went and bought fast food instead. So now I have to actually go out, or it's just gonna be fast food for the week, which I don't want to be doing. And then yeah, there's some other stuff that I gotta pick up too, so it'll probably be an hour or two. Yeah, that's what I like about it. There's like the godly made aspect of them. The other ones have obviously the other version of it, but there's just something like, I don't know, a holy entity. Just something epic about it. Like the Seraph, I think we were talking about Seraph, right? Just something epic. So, watched Constantine the other night, and there's some stuff that I actually might pull from that and how characters are revealed. Like instead of coming out from hell, like they came out from the sky and like touched the ground. Like it's just revealing, just different ways of revealing stuff that you wouldn't actually assume would happen, right? And you're like, oh man, that was sick. Even though it was 3 seconds, it was just like something sick about it. Yeah. I like how you put it. It's like you're not supposed to look at it. Yeah, no, this is a good idea. I know of Warframe. I played it for a little bit, but I just wish there were a higher res image of it. Oh, still pretty pixelated. The faces with like the galaxies like animating in them. That's another thing that I kind of like. Save image. Warframe character reference. Yeah, creatures is another thing, like creating creatures for an alien world. I have so much opportunity to have fun with it. If I was a modeler, right? Create my own Pokemon Pokedex, if you're into that stuff. Yeah, robots, animals, people, buildings, jungles, alien deserts, alien water, alien forests. Solar punk. I don't know if you've heard that terminology before, but I really want to adopt the solar punk look to people that are living outside of the main city. And then obviously the people that are in the main city live in a dystopian or cyberpunk type city. So we have the real contrasting of like humans and their technology, and then the people that are trying to live within the environment, with environment versus against it. People in the city are living against it. There's like a Attack on Titan type thing where you're gonna have walls around the major city, and then jobs to stop monsters from trying to get in, that kind of thing. There's a whole type of organization that I created for that. But yeah, solar punk. It's a type of aesthetic. I came across that terminology recently where technology is in unison with nature versus like against it, destroying it. Like your Quickie Mart, and this would be the solar punk instead of a cyberpunk version, right? This is the solar punk version of it. I think it was a yogurt commercial. Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. We'll watch this and then I'm gonna call it. There's no audio, there's no people talking, it's just music. But it's got like the Studio Ghibli feel to it, and it's just absolutely beautiful. The technology behind it, the look, the feel, how people animate, the small product placements, but it's not like in your face. Society living with nature versus against it here. The farming technologies that they use, like that's just super cool. Creating a little rainstorm just above the garden. And then the nice emotional touch at the end with the note on the phone. Yeah, the robot. I love the robot at the end there with the hat. But there's a little note on the fridge at the end that just ties it all nicely together. Super cool. Frank Lloyd Wright. I'm not sure if I've heard of that. But yeah, what I liked about that ad is you didn't get enough time to read that note. But if you pause it and read it, it's pretty good. Architect. Yeah, so yeah, it might have been like an old term or something, but oh yeah, beautiful. Love it. Yeah, that's cool, dude. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. That's pretty cool. Obviously not good for some of the flooding that's happened in some of the areas, but just from an art standpoint, absolutely stunning. If it's real. I hope it's real. You know of him, National? Yeah, I don't know if I've seen his work before. I don't know a lot of architects' names. If I saw a building, I could tell you if I seen it before, but I haven't seen any of these. Interesting sculpture. Neato. Yeah. Definitely would like to create that in Blender. That'd be super cool, right? Have the water flowing over the edge of the rocks, create the trees. Simple shapes for the house. Like, obviously there's some work to do, but cool. Organic architecture. Organic architecture. Yeah, the Hobbit house. Kind of the Hobbit house. Oh, yeah, this is, I don't know what to call them yet, but there's a faction of people that have defected from the city that are kind of borderline terrorists, but they've gone like super extreme of like, we need to get back to nature, we need to live with nature, but they're hypocritical because they use like old technology from the first, second inhabitants type thing, right? But they live, they live in tree forts and stuff like that, and I imagine their interior looks a lot like that. So I'm actually should actually bookmark this. Oh, cool. Shows you the influence for the design. Yeah, stuff like that, like where it's like rooms carved out of rock or clay. Their villages are kind of like that. Yeah, that's cool. Unique things like this, like why? But I guess serpent, right? There's a reason for it. But it just also looks really nice. Something we haven't seen before. Wow, that's cool. Awesome. Thanks, dude. This is great between the both you guys there. A good little homework reference board for David. Let's put it in here because I got tons of stuff to go through and organize still. That's going to take a while. But anytime something kind of comes up that I'm like, man, I need to document it, at least it's here. So inspiration for some of the designs for still can't spell it to save my life. Architecture designs for David. Living with nature, not against it. Cool, guys. Well, that's a good little win for the day, even if that's all that comes out of it. Just some more reference images for David, which is always good. Yeah, that's super cool. Super cool. Would you guys live in something like this? Would you want to live in something like this? Like, imagine if this is just a Blender animation house. There's like 12 apartments. No? Henry wouldn't, but National would? Interesting. Why yes and why no? I'm curious. Explore that a little bit before I go. I'm definitely extending the stream out. Procrastinating me doing my adult duties. The amount of wild animals and insects. Oh, interesting. Okay. And National, why would you? Pollen, I could get the pollen for sure. Yeah. That's hard if you're weak to those things. Or not weak, sorry. Susceptible. That's the word I was looking for. To those types of things. Sorry, bad. I meant susceptible. That's the word that I meant to say. A little more positive version of it. Imagine how many geckos are out there, National. Would you live in a tree? Well, I guess it'd be the same thing, right? Pollen type stuff, but I'd love to live in a tree house. Sam the Tarzan man. Well, if you're living in a tree, you might be all right. Well, I guess these snakes can climb trees, right? So, But yeah, snakes, there'd be a few things. I'd be worried more about like the spiders, bugs, the things that are tiny that you don't necessarily see, or they could be anywhere, lurking anywhere. Yeah, the space would be interesting. Well, it depends on how many people are living with you. Like if you're talking the blender community. But yeah, like something like that would definitely be space. Just be like isolated, right? Society. You wouldn't be able to go to a lot of things or have stuff shipped to you. I mean, internet you might be able to get with Starlink, but if you were to live out here, it'd be a little bit of a different lifestyle. Yeah, yeah. Make sure they're all protected properly. Flooding, depending on where you're at. Like even in the desert when it rains, right? She could be scary. Oh, this reminds me of what was that one project called where they were testing a bunch of people as if they were living on Mars? Oh, that facility is super cool. It's still in operation today. What was that called? Experiment where people lived in a dome. Starship. This place. I was always fascinated by this place. I would sign up for something like this. But what they did is they had like a bunch of environments, like a desert environment. They had just a few different things that they had to try to survive. And they literally locked people in here to survive for so many years. And unfortunately, they cheated. They had human intervention and blah, blah, blah. And it was broadcasted on television as like kind of a show a little bit. But then, yeah, it fell apart, unfortunately. But now it's just a museum. They test a bunch of stuff in here. I feel like it's more of like a Bionicle type place, but super cool. Yeah, so you want to get back with the nature, eh? A little spot in the boonies. Henry's the city folk, the city man. National's the nature. Sorry guys, I'm not picking my nose, just itchy. I don't know why I keep getting itchy on stream. Yeah, some really cool stuff out there. Some super cool stuff out there. It'd be interesting to see if we could ever go back to that. Within society. So you like to keep your toes in the water still. Not out on the out in the boonies, lumberjacking it solo. Well, we're living in a lucky time a little bit, right? You're still young, so if that's something you want, if you save your money, maybe when you're my age, instead of living in a small box in the city, you can go live out in the boonies with Starlink, right? If you're depending on your type of job, if you do this for your job, you just need Starlink, and then you're empowered to go anywhere. As long as you have hydro, I guess, right? So if you are in the boonies, you need like water power, wind power, if you're not connected to the grid. Which it's people on YouTube make it easier than it is, like, but it's hard to live off the grid. It is really hard to live off the grid. It takes a lot of money or a lot of knowledge, handyman skills to be able to do it right. And a lot of us see this like, somebody bought a camper trailer and converted it into a thing, and now they live out in the bush, right? Or I built my own log cabin. It's like they don't show you a lot of the reality behind that. So, Got to be tricky. Unless you buy a house off Amazon, right? I think that's the thing. I buy a house off Amazon. Something to aspire to, where you can just buy a pre-built house for $20,000. Like, it's what I could do next year. Instead of buying a computer, do you guys want me to buy a prefab house, get Starlink, and move up north and document my journey of living out in the boonies doing Blender? Because I mean, if I pay $1,600 a month for rent, that's like a year. A year of living, I can now own this little rinky-dinky pop-up place out in the boonies. I mean, I got to buy land and everything, right? But it looks like you can buy houses off Amazon. I came across this the other day. Some YouTube guy was claiming, I think he bought this one actually, or a version of this, and it literally shows up in like a, what is it? Where they should show you the before. It shows up in a box, and you just push out the walls. Like you walk up to the walls and you push them out. So yeah. We were looking at a computer for $12,000, right? But we can buy a prefab house on Amazon. I mean, where I live, I don't know if this would survive the winter. That's the thing, right? I don't know if a lot of these would survive the winter, or you'd want to live in it in the winter. But yeah, that'd be cool out in the boonies, National? Something like that. Yeah, well, the land. Well, let's take a look. Land to develop a house, Southern Ontario. So, yeah. This is what land's looking like. I'm sure probably some of these are for city businesses, but then we kind of look at like in Southern Ontario, this little strip of land here. So yeah, we can buy a $20,000 house and stick it on here, but I don't have $700,000 that I could pull from right now. I mean, where it gets a little bit different is, let's try like Thunder Bay, where I kind of grew up. Thunder Bay land for sale. I want to say you can get some that are cheaper still. So yeah, not quite as much, but you're still looking at like 100,000. And the problem is, sure you have land, sure you have a house, but you don't have any septic, you don't have any hydro, you don't have any water. So again, everything on the outside looks good. Oh yeah, $20,000 house, but the reality is, go try to find land, and does that land have access to a nearby water system, sewage system? If it doesn't, then you got to pay for all that to have your own. Then you got to maintain it when it freezes over the winter, blah, 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 right? So again, National, sorry to cut your dreams short, but I just wanted to kind of kick in some reality that as much as I want to get in nature, you want to get in nature, it's possible, but there's still going to be a little bit of a price tag attached to it, right? Or a bit of a reality that you either need to start YouTubing how to survive out in the bush, or save money so that you can pay people to help you survive in the bush. Yeah, sanitary permit, like all that, right? Yeah. I did have lead on like a piece of land that was like $12,000. So that was like, oh man, 12,000 plus the house, 30,000 in total. So that's like 2 years of paying rent here. And now I own a place, a small piece of land with a little house on it. Problem was, way out in the boonies. It was like a 2-hour drive to the nearest hospital, right? So what if I broke my leg doing something or hurt my foot? I can drive, but I don't have a vehicle, and then all that kind of stuff, right? So the reality was like, maybe I should just hold off a little bit. First, try to establish a future career that I know can help facilitate, or I know I can do that. And then slowly itch towards it. But anyways. Yeah, that'd be super cool. Like, that's what I would love to do, right? Buy a piece of land, build a little farm, have a little garden. 3 or 4 hours a day, you're just kind of out there doing stuff, and then the rest of the day you're on Blender. But you're young, explore the city life, get that in your blood, know what you want, know what you don't want, and then funnel your energy and your monies into the things that you want versus the things that people tell you to do. Cool, dude. I should get going too. Got a little chat in there with some future dreams, some future possibilities. Yeah, I'll have fun on myself. Throw some music on, enjoy some off time off the computer. You enjoy your day. But what if you had a heart attack or something? Yeah, 2 hours, right? So that's why I didn't buy the place. Like, I had the money set aside, everything to do it. I was about to do it. But I think it was kind of family that kind of was like, you could try it. You're always welcome back. But it's going to cost you a lot of money when you should maybe just do it right. Maybe $100,000, right? Instead of $30,000, spend $100,000 and then be connected a little closer to society. That kind of thing. So that's where we ended on that. See you later, honey. Have a good one, man. Talk to you later. Nice chatting with you. Good to see your work. Keep it up. But yeah, National, I think that might be a good time to call her, because I keep saying it and I'll never get that done. So if I get it done, then that should free up my week, hopefully. How are we? My computer. Oh yeah, she's cooking eggs, so I should probably kill the stream while I'm rendering. But yeah, hope you have a good day. Hopefully you can get your room done. Hopefully, I'm not sure what else you have planned, but you're definitely making some progress. Keep up on it, dude. I like to see where you're going. Look like we figured out the material stuff today. So a couple little wins. Overall. Oh. Yeah, see you later, dude. Peace.